Recording in progress. Yeah, thank you, lady. And let me check my settings again for the videos. Do that later.
Hi, Gabe.
Don't want to say hi to the other one? There's two people watching these now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Hi, Margie.
All right, so like I said, so there's the one-to-one parallel. So we can say if I had the curly bracket, what's the parallel to this one?
Close curly bracket.
All right, it's connected to the closed curly bracket. I did that weird, but whatever. If I have the open paren and the closing, what's the other one?
The close parentheses.
All right, same thing here. Open bracket, I have what? Right. So that doesn't look too familiar, too recognizable anyway. But what if I did this? What does that look like now?
Key value pair.
Key value pair, right?
Oh,
Kind of looks nice, right? Key value pair there, the key and then this, and I can call that the open closed pair. That's the it's called a mapping, and we've heard of mapping before. When you do a Caesar cipher, for example, Caesar cipher is just A, B, C. You can say is equal to. You can just pivot over a little bit, and so you can say it's D, E, F, right? And so since I shift the entire alphabet over, I now have a one-to-one pair. A's are D's, B's are E's, C's are F's. What's the next one?
D and G.
Right. And so that's kind of this idea of mapping. We have a mapping of characters to other characters, or a mapping of, we see this before. A is equal to 1, B is equal to 2, C is equal to 3. Same kind of concept, this concept of mapping. And this is where kind of the name of hash map even comes into play. It's the idea of mapping a value to a key. In most cases, it's a hashing algorithm. You'll take data, you'll hash it, and then you store it in that key. That's where the term hashing comes in, the hash map comes into play. And so that's something else you'll learn about, and I should probably add that to the dictionary as well. Hashing. You know what, we're gonna do that. Let's do this. Add that to the terminology. That's good to just know what that is. So hashing is the idea of taking value. In this case, it would be taking the value, sending it through a hashing algorithm that gives you out an output. And that tells you where to store this item, this value. And so the idea there is that you don't know if that tells you that you don't know where the value is. It's just somewhere. And that way you can also check to see if the value is there, because then if you put a value through the hashing system, it always gives you the same output. And so this can be another way of finding if something is in your system by just saying, hey, hash this value. If it's there, it should be in this slot. Let me go look and find it there. That's another thing you can look into. You'll learn about this as you look up hash maps and stuff. You'll learn about that concept. So as you research these, you'll learn about that use case of hash maps. But another use case of key value pairs is this item here. This idea of mapping things out so that you can easily access the alternative. And so in this case, since we have the opening of the closing, we can create a map of that item. And so we can do the if statement of if map.get. We can do opens, like the open parentheses, like stack. Sorry, we'll do stack. I don't know what you guys called your stack. So pop equal to current character. Right? We could check for that. Because what I do here is this is going to give me the open parenthesis, the open item on the top of the stack. But then I do map.get, I'm going to get this one, which gives me this guy actually. So I'm going to get this back. And now I can compare this guy against what I'm looking at in my string. As a one-line if statement now. To check to see if the one here is valid for the one there. So this is a key, this is one of those main use, this is another use case of a key value pair that we've had before. So we've used key value pairs for counting occurrences. So we've used it for occurrences. You can also use it for one-to-one relationships. So we can jump straight to that item to get its relationship, its counterpart, which can be really, really powerful for complex if statements. So there's some answers to the hash map system in the homework for the weekend, by the way. And so this was the data structure I was hinting at that could speed up your time complexity.
I thought about doing this in a sense that I made a rudimentary one. I made one that's open in an array, and I made one that was closed in an array. Because I was thinking about having the open and key value. I didn't do it in a hash map, but I was thinking that line. I was thinking if I have everything that's open and I could just access these two, I could get through it quicker.
Mhm.
But I didn't implement it well enough to
Yeah.
do it.
That's fine. Again, I will clarify, like the only reason I know to do this kind of stuff is because I've done algorithms that have these benefits to it, and I've been told after I created a very crappy kind of overly done solution, and that's why I knew what the most likely scenario you guys did with if statements. I can pretty much picture what you guys would have created with both switches and if statements. I then looked at a better solution and saw that the hash maps were used. And so I think I have an algorithm I'm going to look for to see if HackerRank has it that I can give you guys over the weekend to see this one-to-one relationship system, that this can be used again. Where again, it doesn't need to be used. You can just use if statements, but again, it's a little more obvious that you can use a hash map to do it. So I'm going to check to see if that one's there. It also might be a free code camp algorithm now that I think about it. So I'll have to check. Yeah, I'll try to do that. Maybe we'll give you that one over the weekend, or we'll do that one next week, maybe. We'll see. But with this, you can get a really nice looking algorithm. But let's take a look at some solutions. So have you guys take a look at it. Stop share. I think we'll do, I'm wondering if we should do where you guys kind of, if anyone has actually a solution where they solved all of them, but doesn't have the hash map system in there, they can show theirs first. Instead of me trying to code out both. Go for it, Matt.
Sure.
Then I can show you guys a more efficient solution.
So I just used the
switch case,
stack
yep.
and a convoluted, nasty switch case, but
Yeah. Oh, for every character, including the adding it. Okay. So if you have an open item. Oh, and that's an interesting thing. So if you've got an open and you're on the last character, return no immediately. So a special edge case. All right.
yeah, added that in later. Freddie helped fix this because I had most of the cases failing before Freddie came in
Oh,
and
geez.
helped me understand this a little bit
All
better.
good.
But
If you had,
had-
the conditional at the end of this system to check if there was anything left over in your list, you wouldn't need that edge case there. So if you scroll up a little bit.
up.
Yeah, where's my annotations? Where'd you go? Why did you put it there? So yeah, this thing here, if you have the conditional after the for loop to check if there's anything left over in your stack, then this won't be needed because it's going to just check that right away.
Oh, right, because it pops
Kinda
out every
unnecessary.
time. So if
Yeah.
there's stuff left over, then okay.
Exactly. So that one's not really needed unless you don't have that, but you should, because there's no guarantee that the last item would be only open with nothing left over. So
Right.
that one's not really needed, but it's not bad to have it because you can save at least one extra process, I guess. That's fine. See, and then that one just adds it to the stack, and then you use break up. Wait, oh, does that break it out of the switch? Oh yeah, that's breaking it out of the switch statement. Okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't cascade into the other cases.
I actually don't know what a continue would do in a switch statement, by the way. Yeah, so yeah, that works. Yep, because that'll bring you to the bottom of it and then cause it to reset to your top of your conditional. Cool. Next one is the closing brackets. Then you check for, yep, stack is empty. So this is that edge case I mentioned. And then you pop it to see if it's the opening one. And if it's not, you say bad. Good.
Yep, and those just repeat for these three.
Yep, just the other opening one. Yep. Very good. And then otherwise, default, yep. Good. Oh, I like this, by the way. The fact that you had a catcher, just in case some weird scenario happens, you can catch that and then try to debug it. Always, always, always include a default, even if you know there's, even if you believe there's no logical way for it to hit, it's a great way to catch logic errors instead of having just a random crash. So, but what'll actually happen is that nothing happens. If you don't handle the default, it will just move on to the next item. And so you won't know that you skipped something. This one will at least help you to know, hey, I had a problem. So it's really, really good to have these, even if they're never going to hit. And then, okay, so you don't actually have that condition though to check. You still to check for that. I'm kind of surprised that it won't catch that for you then. Interesting.
For what?
I'm looking at the end of your for loop and you're not looking to see if there's anything left over in your stack.
No, that's
Hmm.
that's basically what this is doing here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a scenario in my head though where that should still fail. Because if you have like open, open, close, and then nothing.
Well, every case statement he has is that he's checking if it's empty, so it always
But
returns.
I'm trying to figure out how his would solve this, for example. Just this. 3 items. So the first one comes in, it's fine. It's not the last item, so it adds it to the stack. This one is definitely fine, adds it to your stack. This comes in, runs this code to get this one out, and then it exits the for loop.
Well, let's see how it would take it.
All right, curious.
I am too.
This should come back as no.
So
Just
open, close?
Yep.
This should come back as no. Let's see. Oh,
I have to do it twice.
oh, debugging purposes.
Yeah, he's
I'm
printing it out
okay.
in the
I'm
actual code
system
itself.
outing.
Gotcha. Okay, I was just like, wait, what? Oh, okay. Line 71, got it.
Oh,
Doesn't-
so
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
you
I
said
mean-
you passed all the test cases?
yeah, I did.
They didn't test for that? Oh, god
Nope.
damn them.
Yeah.
And now you guys, now I'm making myself look even better with damn algorithms. I'm finding edge cases that HackerRank isn't catching now. God damn it. I don't want myself to look that good.
Yeah, there's some of yeah. There are some of those like that. There's.
Oh yeah, there are. I know there are. It's like, come on, HackerRank,
Yeah.
stop making me look good. I'm not that amazing. God damn it.
Go work for HackerRank, Cliff.
Seriously. I'm starting to find like, hey, this code actually isn't good, but whatever. But
I
I will
think
say
I
that's
did
when you
one-
start getting good at algorithms. It's also being able to try to invalidate your own. If you can find a way to invalidate your own, that's how you know you're getting good at them. And that's the best way to know you understand your code too. If you can find a way to break it.
Oh, I remember that. Remember, it was the binary search tree. Remember the one I did that actually worked, and you was like, "What? It shouldn't work."
Right. Yep, you did that once, and I was like, wait, what? No, this is not valid.
Yes, but
Yeah.
it worked. I'm like, well, they didn't test for that. I'm like, well, you know.
Yep. Stack's not empty. You want to return no. Yeah.
Now let's make
Run it
sure
again.
that actually goes in, and this will only print it out once because there's no south there.
Nope, you got the 75 still. Oh no, it returns. Yeah,
Nope.
you're right.
Because yep,
Yep. It's after the if statement. Good. Yep, there you go. That fixes it. Awesome. So now you
Nice.
definitely have 100%, which is weird that you got it. So good job. My one conditional is not valid to HackerRank. Come on, HackerRank, I'm doing your job for you. Well done. Again, I don't care. You passed it, and that's all that matters in the interview test. That's why I've also said before during the interviews, again, don't try for perfection, try to solve the test cases. So once you solve test cases, move on to another problem. So in the interview, even if you can find an edge case that doesn't work, if it passes the test cases, move on. If you have leftover time, sure, go back and fix it and even add a comment saying, hey, I found an edge case that your system didn't notice, and you can bring that up during the interview to really show off. Like, by the way, yeah, I found an edge case that HackerRank didn't catch for, so I added it anyway. So I added the code for it anyway. That would definitely make you look like an impressive little person. Like, wait, you did what? So, no, great job though. That's what we want. Impressive that they didn't
Thanks,
get
Freddie.
that.
No problem.
All right. Did anyone actually solve all without the switch statements solution?
Is it
Or at
no
least solve
problem
majority.
or more problems?
Anyone solve the majority without the switch with just if statements? So
Did
what do you
mine with
switch?
just a statement.
What's that, Evan? Yours is just if?
did. Yeah,
Go for it. Show us what you got.
okay.
Ah, so bright. No.
Oh, is it? I can make it darker.
You're fine. I'm having fun.
Freddie says the same thing on all my stuff.
It's gonna have fun once in a while.
Let's
Late at
see,
night.
so
Late at night, you gotta go dark mode.
5 through each of the characters and well, converting a string to a
Yep.
char array.
Yeah, it's one of the, it's either to char array or split to get a string, gets individual strings. So you do dot split to char array. There's actually multiple different ways. There's actually a full article on the multiple different ways to iterate through a string with time and space complexity. So there's a cool article on that you can look up by just Googling how to iterate a string in Java or Java
that's-
iterate a string. So
That's
I'll check
cool
it
that
out.
you can make the array right in the for each loop.
that's why I did my
that's
split.
cool.
Yeah, I did for string SC or string CH colon S dot split. You'll see that in mine. So
Oh, that's cool.
I don't need it. I don't need it after the for loop. So why save it in memory? Why save it in memory? We can just save it in cache.
And then we're pushing each of the open brackets into our stack.
Mhm.
However, if the first character in our string is a closing bracket and the stack is empty, we return no. But
Yep, and that's the edge case that I mentioned. Yep, that's the edge case mentioned. If you ever have a closing bracket and your stack is empty, it's dead. Yep.
and then I stored the character pops,
scroll back up a
but
quick second.
more for read
Scroll
more
back
for
up a quick second.
readability.
Evan,
Yeah.
can you scroll back up a second? A little bit more, right there.
Mhm.
Okay, so here's where I want to just be a little mean. Not too much, but just again, I want to help you guys with this because everyone's probably seeing how nested yours is, and you're probably hating how nested it is, right? It's probably bothering you a little bit.
Yeah, I was actually gonna look up after if I had time. how to-
Continue, and then you no
Yeah.
longer need the else statement here. You can just go on, because that means if it's not an opening bracket, you now instantly, if it is an opening bracket, you push and then go right back to the top of the for loop.
I
Or
see.
continue. So, well, you can't do that because you don't have to continue yet.
Oh.
You add the continue after stack dot push. So stack dot push and then continue.
I see. Okay.
Mhm. The continue command is again a command to say, hey, restart the next iteration of the loop. So this will start the next iteration of the for loop, and then you no longer need to do the else statement because you only hit that line if the first one failed.
I was doing break to cut the loop off to start over again, but it was causing me problems.
There, and then yep, then you have your if it's one of the closing brackets, and then you got if stack is empty, return no, and then you get the if it's not empty, so you have a stack, you pop off the item from your stack. Good, but you can do
Yeah, I
both
just
here,
stored
so
it in a variable to make it a little easier for me
That's
to
fine.
not make.
And again, you don't want to have to keep popping it each time, and you can't keep popping. Remember, you can only pop once. Once you pop, it's no, you can't stop now. Once you
Yeah, that's
pop,
true.
it's no longer in the stack. So remember that it's literally just like Pringles. Once you pop it out of a Pringles pop jar, it's not in there anymore. That chip is gone.
But basically, what this is doing is we're popping. It's still in this if, so we're popping the
Yeah,
parentheses.
because either
Yeah,
you're gonna
but-
match it or you're gonna fail.
But if you're popping that with that variable, you could push it back onto the stack. With push, you could pop that back to the beginning of the stack if you needed to, or the end
You
of the
could,
stack.
can't do that with a cube. That's why I don't like doing that. And I'm of the mindset, if you remove something from either stack or queue, you cannot put it back. I like that mentality because I don't like thinking that because I can confuse myself with the queue. Because if you remove something from a queue, you cannot put it back in the queue. So when I'm dealing with stacks and queues, I only take it out of the stack if I'm planning to use it.
Yeah,
Again,
but
you can
see, that
still,
was the thing.
it's not a set in stone type of rule. It's just a rule for me to kind of make sure I'm using it accurately. But of course, there are times to break those rules.
And
Yeah,
then
'cause
this
like I
fun,
used-
and
I
then this
used
fun
the-
if block.
I used the queue in my Uno because I had to keep going around. I had to keep moving people through the queue.
You do realize you could have just done an or in there, right? So if the CH is equal to closing or the other one, yeah, I can definitely see where this one's a little bit, so you can see where there's gonna be a bit extra time, complexity in here, right? For time complexity. You probably
Yeah.
could have found a way to combine the two if statements at the same time, right? Instead of doing two separate if statements, do one if statement of an or. If one of these is true,
I
oh,
see.
no, I know that's what you're
Okay.
doing, yeah. Well, you could do an and, sorry, and then in parentheses, yeah, do a C, if the CH is equal to the closing one, and it's popped is equal to this one, because remember, with an and situation, if the first one fails, it won't even check the second. So you can just combine these two to being, if CH is equal to closing, and popped is equal to this, return continue. But you also make sure you return no, though, otherwise. Yeah, this might actually be the better way. I'm trying to think if I could do that. Maybe not.
Yeah, it made my logic a little complex, but I
Main thing
definitely
is you don't
would
need the
love to
else.
simplify
I will say
this.
this though, you don't
is
need the
gonna
else because you have continue. So
Ah,
that's not
okay.
needed. You have an if continue, else is unnecessary. But you can keep it for now because I don't want you going through and cleaning up all the else's. But just remember that. Continue is similar to return and break. It stops execution of any code below it,
Yeah, I was playing it too safe there, I think.
which is fine to start, but I want you to start recognizing that kind of code so you can start cleaning your code up when you finish. All right,
Right.
same thing here. Don't need the else here on the return yes and no, because you got an if return. Remember, if return does not need an else. Again, if it makes it easier for you to read, leave it for now. But then at some point you want to catch that and be like, oh, I don't need this else.
How's this
I
working?
know this could be rewritten. I know this could be rewritten as a ternary too.
Good, but I don't care about ternaries.
Okay.
Ternaries are not necessary. They don't really give a lot of flair. Doing one can be nice, but not during the hacker rank. I don't care about hacker rank because most of the time they're not going to really look at the code too much. They're just going to look at the length.
Yeah, and I just don't want to mess up
yeah.
the syntax.
And readability is key. So
Yep.
legibility, readability is key.
So how's that code actually working? Because I mean, at the bottom here, at the line from 71 to 75.
Mhm.
So at this point, it's checking if the stack is empty or not.
Yeah, he's
No,
auto-fully.
I realize all this, but with this if statement, doesn't it tell you, it's an if statement, so you don't really have a definite return. Is the
The
else
else
make a
does.
definite return?
It does. Yeah. It does.
Okay, all right.
Because again, so if
Yeah, it's
true,
this.
we hit
Yeah.
this. If false,
Yeah.
we hit this. There's no way to skip those. If there was a way
Right.
to skip over the if statement in a whole, then yes, no, because we're gonna hit one of these two no matter what. Java's happy.
Yeah. Well, it's just
However,
like
this will
sometimes
probably
I put
work
this in
just
here,
fine.
so,
Like,
yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's what I was
probably
telling you.
work
Yeah,
fine like
Yeah.
this.
yeah, that's what I was telling you. You have an if return with an else.
Okay, yeah. So now that's definite. So if it doesn't hit this line, it's gonna go straight to no and,
Yep.
and be done. All right.
And those are the three items you gotta remember. If you have, which is fun to say, if you have an if return, if can continue, or if break, you do not need an else. That's the thing to remember, because you cannot hit that next line below it unless that if statement fails. Only reason you want something else is if you need an if statement that should an else if that you want to check for. But even then, you don't, because you can just do another if. That's the thing to keep in mind. Cool. Yep. So yeah, good there. Runs all the code cases. Hit the submit code. And DOTF UTC test case 2 takes a little while to run. And that's probably where all the if statements are not playing friendly with you.
Yeah, probably not.
Test case 2 is probably has one of the long ones in it. We could probably unlock if you want to see, but okay. It doesn't. Why does that take so long to solve? All right, whatever.
I really don't know unless they're not really running.
Oh, you know why it takes so long? Look
Why?
at the second test case. You have 2 open brackets in the beginning. So it has to go through and figure out the open brackets are, and then it has to figure out the rest of it.
It has a closing bracket immediately,
yeah.
which actually should fail it right away.
Yeah.
That first closing bracket should fail it instantaneously. That's why I'm confused why it's taking so long to solve that.
I had
Oh,
trouble with
that's-
this one too, actually, and I don't know why.
Well, because that was the edge case, the closing bracket immediately. We have a closing
Well,
bracket.
I had accounted for that, and it still wasn't working for whatever reason. Freddie and I went back
Weird.
and forth on it for a while.
Weird.
Well, I
that's
would
not
think
that
my thought was if it was an open bracket in the
Oh.
beginning, then it just fails automatically because there's no closing bracket for the first one.
Wait, I'm trying to figure out though how yours worked in this one. Okay, I can see why, because you would have failed right here. So yeah, your code. This is one of the ones where it technically should have failed yours too, because it has an extra floating open one at the end, but it's
Mhm.
going to fail immediately here and here. There's multiple spots for it to fail before it gets to the thing that you didn't have in yours, Matt. So yeah, they had the stuff there to check for it if you were partially doing stuff, but no, it doesn't. That's just that one's just all sorts of imbalanced. So whatever. Not sure why that one takes the time. Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna walk you guys through the one I came up with now. So I don't think I need to type it out. Do you think I need to type it out for you guys, or you guys just want to look at the code in its finished form? Do we want to do a walkthrough of it and see me write it out, or what do you guys want to do?
I'd like a walkthrough. I'd like to see the thought process that goes into it.
Cool, let's do it then. Then we'll get straight to our React. We'll pull it back up. Might need to just hit the reset button because it might bring in my code already. It does, so let's reset. Cool. All right. Let's think for a second. So the first things first, I know I need a stack. We've already talked about that. So again, we already came in here with a solution in our mind. That's going to be how I'm coming into this. So first, I'm going to do this. Let me see you guys. There you are. Pretty faces. Awesome. And the frog face. Thanks, Serge. Yep. No, he's away. He doesn't hear the joke. Never mind.
My
Talk about his
eyes.
frog face. Oh wait, yeah. Why am I on white on light mode? There we go.
Thanks.
Thank you, Freddie, for calling me out when I did that to Evan. Might as well get called out too. I did that to him. All right. So the first thing we know we need, of course, is that stack. Why am I caps locked? Stack. The stack is just going to be a stack of strings. And I call it opens. You can also just call it stack. We're gonna go with that with you guys to make it nicer. New stack. And because it's a single element, it should be able to infer that for this. If you ever get an inferment error, I can't infer. What the item is, just put the same data type in there. That's all you need to do. So you got that. What I want to do next is I want to iterate through the string one by one to pull each string out and either add it to the stack or compare against the stack. So and since I know I want to hit every single element, I either want to hit every element or I want to break out early. I never want to skip an element. So there's no reason for me to skip. So the normal for int I or int x, that one doesn't work. The standard for loop, I don't really need that because I don't need to be able to skip numbers or do anything of that nature. I need to be able to exit the program early because I'm going to be able to find before the end of the string if it's not balanced. I don't need to go through the whole thing with the know for sure it's imbalanced or not, right? We've already showed a couple scenarios where we can find out in the middle of the string it's dead. So I don't want to use a for each method like this. I don't want to use a for each on the item itself. In this case, I'm going to do for. So we know that Evan did the character version. I'm going to do this one, string ch. Don't do chr because that is a data type. That is the primitive char. You have character, the class, and then you have the primitive char. String ch in. And so again, what I did was s.split. This is just me being very familiar with my JavaScript roots. .split came from JavaScript for me, so I literally just Google search Java split to see if it existed, and it did. So that's where I went with that one. So I get that, and then the first thing, the first item is very similar to what I think both Evan and Matt had. Is just there's no easy way to check for if it's one of 3 characters. I simply just did if ch dot equals, and this is one of the things I didn't see, which kind of was a little sad. Now, Evan was okay with this using his ch equal because chars are treated as numbers. So and since he did a char system where he did the char array, he had chars, and chars are looked at as numbers in Java. They are not a string, they're a number. And so you can do the equal with no weird behaviors. And with strings, we don't want to do that. So this is dot equals run or ch dot equals bracket or ch equals.
Because double equals works with primitives, but not objects, and string is an object in Java.
Right. Yep. You can get away with like doing integers with the equal, but primitives work better. But really the main thing is, again, it's a single item. It's not a giant bit array or byte array. So strings are a collection of chars. So it's a little more complicated than just doing equal. So yeah, just frowned on. Java will tends to do it right most times, but it's just frowned upon. So it's one of those. We're simply going to do stack.push. And again, I'm using push because that's the familiarity I have with the stacks and queues. That is the terminology used by stacks and queues. If you did .add, I'm not too worried about it. I'm just used to doing push and pop. So continue. Again, the point of this one is just to make sure, hey, I'm done with this chart. I've done what I need to do with it. And that's where I look at things like continue, return, break. For continue, it's like I try to use continue as much as often because I want to be like, I'm always trying to finish what I'm doing with every iteration. Whenever I'm doing a looping structure, I go through each iteration. I always ask myself, am I done with this iteration? Am I finished what I need to do with this item here? If my answer is yes, I continue. And that way it doesn't even potentially do any sort of conditions down below, it's just going to pop back up to the top. So now with this, I can make that logical deductive statement of saying, if here it is a closing parent, and that's a shortcut for parenthesis or bracket. So it's closing parent. So it's one of the closing items. And again, I can state that statement, one, because of this being false. And what's the other reason? Why can I make that statement? What's the other reason I can make that statement? I can make the statement about a string. So again, I'm dealing with a string. And if I'm here, I can say this with full 100% confidence because of this guy here and what else? Sanity check. Why can I be confident that this is a closing parenthesis right here?
Because you've accounted for all the open
Right.
in
True.
that.
Yeah, and then so where else though am I getting the confidence knowing that I have nothing else but closings?
The
What
continue,
makes me know what's that?
the
continue,
continue
like-
view,
How do I know it's not an A or a B or an exclamation point? How do I know that?
Strengths?
What? Ready? Say it all again.
Strengths from HackerRank?
There. I just want to make sure you guys are on the same page. Yeah. The constraints, remember? All characters in the sequence will be these. So I can HackerRank lets me be able to make it's this statement here and the HackerRank constraints that lets me make this confident statement. It's not the string that lets me do it. It's the HackerRank constraints that allow me to make that statement with confidence, knowing that 100% I am correct in this statement. That's one of the things I want to make sure you're aware of. Because there's nothing in the code that is telling me this. It is my knowledge of the constraints of the challenge ahead of me. So with that, I need to test if first test if it's empty. So yeah, I'm gonna do a comment for that. First thing, let's just see if there's anything in my stack. If there's nothing in my stack here, I can't do anything. I can't pop. So definitely an easy first thing to do. So if stack is empty, that's an instant return. No. Done, all done. We've got a closing bracket with nothing in my stack. I haven't seen an opening bracket. This thing's dead in the water. Nice and easy. Otherwise, I now know I have a closing bracket and there is at least one opening bracket in my stack that I now need to compare. And I'm thinking like, okay, well, if I want to do that, I first need to know what type of closing. So if I want to do this, I need to know what type of closing it is, then compare against its partner. When I start thinking of stuff like this, where I'm like comparing against its partner and there's more than just two options like that, I'm like, all right, now I have this one-to-one parallel with multiple possibilities. I don't want to have to deal with all these if statements. And this is where I get that trigger. Oh, for me, I know I need my hash map. I need my one-to-one mapping system. So this is when and actually in my code, in my attempt to resolve this again, just make sure I didn't forget how to solve this. This is when I realized, I'm like, wait a minute, I need a hash map, don't I? So I didn't realize it immediately as I started writing out my solution. It was here when I wanted to go to compare the two. I remembered, wait a minute, I need a hash map. I need a better way of conditioning instead of all these if statements, these nested if statements in switch cases. So hash map, string, mapping equals new hash map, string. And this is IntelliJ told me that it wasn't able to infer automatically. That's why I'm going to do the adding it here because that one happened. Now, what I could do here, of course, is I could do like hashmap.add or put, whatever it is. But there's also a syntax for inline, doing this, 2 curly brackets, and you do put. Yeah. Actually, that's what I wanted. That one. Put. And for anyone wondering, I did not know this syntax off the top of my head. I Googled it. I was like, inline hash map. I just looked for that. Because again, I don't want to have to do multiple lines of mapping.put or mapping.put, mapping.put. So I want to say, is there a way to just do a bunch in one spot? So, and again, that term is called inline, creating a hash map inline. And so I looked that up. I got this syntax. I'm like, that works. So I used it.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that's why it's very important that you know those computer science terms, because it's going to make your Google searching much easier for that little bit of syntax you want. I didn't look up any sort of solution on how to use the hash map in this situation. I just like, hey, I want a hash map. I don't want to have to write hash map mapping.put, mapping.put, mapping.put. So I looked up the inline to see, hey, what is it? That's what I found. So I'm like, I'll use that. There we go. Got that. Did I use a semicolon there? I do. Yeah, you're right. I do that. That is that. Okay. So now that I have the hash map, if I remember correctly, if I do a mapping.get and I give it this, what does it return?
It returns the closed curly brace.
Right. And so I want to compare and give this the open one to get and compare it against the current one I'm looking at. So this is going to be the closing one here. So let's do this then. So what I want to do now is I'm going to do and again, I'm tricking for no. I want to look for no, not for yes, because that means I'm not going to do anything. So I want to look for no. And so the specific code you want to do is if, well, let me look at this and let me see if this is correct. So mapping.get, I do stack.pop. So that's going to give me the opening bracket. So we only put opening brackets in our stack. So that's going to give me the opening. I then put in the mapping, and that gives me the closing that I'm looking for. So this gives me what I'm looking for. I want to see if that is equal to char. Well, not that, it's a string, it's not equals. ch. What does this tell me?
Boolean.
Right. What am I going to get? So
You're either gonna get true or false.
right, but what does true mean? So if this returns true, what does that mean?
It means you have an actual, you have a closing bracket to match it.
Right. That's what I'm trying to get to. Yes. True here means it's a matching pair. False means it's an unmatched pair. So if I want to do a return no, is this accurate?
No.
What do I need to do?
Put an exclamation point in front of mapping.
Oh, does anyone know the terminology, the computer science term for exclamation? That's too much of a
Not?
Yeah.
mouthful.
Bang.
Not is valid, but bang. Bang or not.
They call it bang
Bang.
because
Yes.
it's an exclamation.
Yes,
Wow.
because you cannot say bang without imagining an exclamation point at the end of it. Have you ever seen a bang with a period? No.
Bang.
They see with a question mark. Bang? Bang? What's a bang? I've seen pow with an exclamation point.
And you have the interrobang,
Terabang, what?
the question mark and the exclamation point together.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's called
Oh,
bang.
Bang. Oh,
Because
wow.
exclamation
That's
point is
fantastic.
way too much of a mouthful to say.
When did they
And developers,
implement
we are
this?
about quick. What?
When did they implement this notation? Because I'm just thinking Mark Hamill's Joker with the toy
Okay.
gun.
It's a good question. I don't know. But all I know, yeah, it's either referred to as not or bang. Because other languages do use it for uses other than not. It's not guaranteed. It's not always not, which is fun to say. And other languages do not use this for not. So I don't think SQL, for example, uses it. They actually have the word not. So they actually type out the word not. So in here, though, just be aware, yeah, this is also referred to as bang, because it's again, shorter and simpler to say and less flubbly with the words and easier to know what you're talking about. So if you say exclamation point, you're not going to lose points, but saying bang, you'll usually get bonus points unless you're working with a non-developer. So verify that who you're working with is a developer before you say that. If you're talking to HR, say an exclamation point. If you're talking to a developer, bang.
Yo, bang, man, what's up?
So in here, now we know that this is this is now converting this from a true, and this is true, it's actually false, and this is false, it's actually true. So this is now a negative conditional, which means we can do a return. Oh. If we hit this, we know we actually had a valid closing bracket. We've already popped it, so it's already been removed from the stack. And so this iteration is now fine. It's going to go back to the top. So we're good there. Our for loop is now done.
Just don't forget your
Last thing to do.
semicolon.
Yeah, semicolon
Thank you.
42.
Last thing I'm going to do, of course, is the check to see if there's anything left over. Not stack. empty. Always do return no's.
I think you need open close parentheses after empty.
Thank you.
Yes, you do.
Thank
Good
you.
job, Matt.
Last but not least,
Wow.
that's it. How's that
That's
look?
clean. That's very clean.
Very nice.
We'll test it. Make sure it's happy.
A lot
Keep
cleaner
popping up
than
there.
how I wrote mine.
My goal though is to help you guys improve your code. So don't worry, don't feel bad about that. If I do not write code that's cleaner than yours, I feel like I let you guys down. Why am I teaching?
I appreciate
Uh,
this because I didn't think about checking against the cases as I was forming the stack. In
Hmm.
my case, I did it after the fact,
Okay.
which
Which can be, it can work
Yeah.
for some solutions. Yeah.
well, I only got 4 out of the 21 instead. So
Yeah. This one doesn't work as much because yeah, it's definitely like the order matters and everything. Then all done.
I
Finished.
just kind of eliminated the beginning though. I kind of, the beginning, I just checked if the length was not, modulo 2. If it was 0, then just
mhm.
go away.
Again, yeah,
just
I
return
thought about
0.
doing that, but I wasn't sure it was going to save me that much performance, so I wasn't too worried
Yeah.
about it. If you knew you were going to deal with like 1,000 long items, I guess you could do that because you could invalidate a lot. But yeah,
I just kind of like getting rid of most of that. If I can get rid of it off the top, then that's just computing time, just like totally does not have to go through. But
yeah, well, I could definitely do that if I want to be super efficient. Yeah, if s dot what is it, length or size for string? Size, length.
yeah, like
Is it a method or a property?
It's
Method.
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 Length modulo 2 is equal to 1. Again, that's if it's this is the odd thing. So if the length is odd, that's what equal 1 means. Return no. Let's confirm that that didn't break it. It goes, run and submit. See how quick those go through. Already done. So time and space complexity, happy. Pretty good, right?
Cool.
All right, good. Awesome. Yeah, that's a solution for that one. And again, this is why, as you see, because I knew about hash maps, it made my life easier. That's why I was able to solve this so easy. I know hash maps, I'm familiar with them. I've used them in several scenarios and I've seen their multiple use cases. And that's where my past benefits me for solving algorithms. So the more algorithms you solve and the more other solutions you see, the better you're going to get at algorithms. So it's not just I've solved so many and I just solve them now. It's because I've solved them and looked at other people's approaches to that same algorithm that I solved. So you can't take an algorithm and just look at the solutions because then you won't really understand the solution because you don't have your own solution to the problem. I cannot stress enough that before you look at other people's solutions, you must have at least attempted it and have a somewhat cohesive solution of your own to the problem. Otherwise, you're just looking at a solution, not fully getting why they went that route or why that might work. Like, well, they did this, cool, it works. All right, cool. By looking at it through the lens of a already somewhat understanding person, you can better rule or challenge their solution and see why or maybe how they came to that endpoint. How did they come up with that? Even then, you'll see things you don't know, and that's just going to lead you down a Google search, which can be really nice. And so with that, what I will say for future items, as you go through the algorithms, once you solve it, again, feel free to go to the leaderboard on HackerRank and look at the solutions once you've solved it yourself and take a look at other solutions. Or just collaborate with your classmates. Ask anyone else, hey, did you solve this? Want to share solutions? Once you know that you both solved it, share each other's solutions and take a look at them. Evaluate each other's and see how they're, maybe ask yourself what's better about each one. Does one have better memory, one have better processing, one have a more interesting solution, even though it might be less effective? That's a really cool way you did it. Things like that. And that can be a really good way to broaden your knowledge on how to approach these. And last thing I'll say again, so now that everyone's here, I'm going to repeat this. I know some of you heard this already, but this is going to be one of the homeworks for this weekend until next Thursday. So Thursday is when this is due. We'll be submitting this in classroom, so be aware of that because there's a good amount of stuff here. This is just vocabulary. So you're not solving any problems. You're just doing Google. You're just searching, Google searching. So if you have a day that you cannot code, you can do this Google searching on your phone. So no excuses that not be able to do this on a day you can't code. Find 5 minutes, go to the bathroom. I don't care. I don't care if this is bathroom level searching. Do it right as you're laying in bed. I don't care. There you go. Better. No, we'll get rid of the toilet. You're laying in bed about to go to sleep. Just Google search some algorithm. That'll help you get tired. But yeah, data structure and algorithm vocabulary. I want you to look up these algorithms. There's like 8 of these that you need to know. Array, linked list, tree, set, stack, queue, hash map, heap, and graphs. I think those are the 9, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, there's 10 here. Like I would say you probably don't need to know graphs too much unless you're getting into graph theory, and matrices are not that complicated. They're kind of similar to arrays, I'll say. I'm just gonna give you that hint. But just be aware, yeah, those 2 aren't really as needed, but the rest of these, you definitely want to know what they are. Yeah. And then these are just some terminologies you'll see related to data structures. They themselves are not a data structure, but another hint, nodes are heavily used in the linked lists, trees, and heap and graphs. So you'll see nodes very referenced very often in graphs, linked lists, and trees and tries. Vertices you'll see mentioned in like graphs. You might hear about them in trees. Vector, I'll let you guys figure that one out. But yeah, and again, I know we've dealt with time and space complexity, but you do want to make sure you can explain it in your own words. And that's the key item to this homework. 2 sentences max of your own words, i.e. you should be looking up multiple definitions of these items and then coming up with your own definition. And the last thing I said, and I said this to everyone else, again, some of these items may be familiar in Java. You probably see right there, linked list. That is not a list in Java. I want what a linked list data structure is in the sense of computer science. So you're looking at the computer science meaning for each of these and what they are as a data structure. Once you know what it is, and you can look up your language's implementation of that item. How do you implement this in your language? So you can look up how to do a linked list in Java. You can look up how to do a tree in Java, how to do a queue in Java, how to do a heap in Java, et cetera, and et cetera. That's the key thing here. So you want to know what these in other languages though, so that it's a term you can even just talk about. And again, just a term that you know, it's in your toolbox, it's in your truck. So as soon as you realize, hey, you know what, I might need this, let me go remember how to implement that. What's the syntax for that? All right, that's the key. Once you have a definition, think of a couple use cases. So you now know 2 use cases for hash map. We've now talked about them. Occurrence, counting occurrences. How many times does something occur? You can keep track of it. And has it occurred? You can then also use hash maps for one-to-one relationships. Easy checking on that, easy conditional. If there's any others, go for it. But yeah, describe some use cases. And last but not least, find a code sample that is using that item and was it being used for and what's interesting about it. So that you guys can share that with each other so you can learn of other ways to use that algorithm or that data structure. You're not trying to find a problem that you're going to solve yourself with it. You're just looking for someone else that has used that data structure in a problem. So you can kind of share that link and so we can read up about it, so people can read up about it. My goal that I want to do is try to make this stuff public on those links in these documents you guys create. I'm going to create a material assignment or a material item in Classroom with all these documents that people can come in and look at those. You can look at multiple examples and see how they work. So if there's one that you're like, yeah, I got it. I solved it. Or I did the assignment. I found a definition. I made up a definition. I found an example, but I'm still not really confident. You can look at some of your classmates, what they found, what they wrote, and see what they got and help yourself to understand it better. Sound good? Again,
Well,
Thursday's the due date. What's up?
Cliff, I got your, I have your quote of, I don't know, I call it the original list that you gave us of 40 things that we should know about computer science that you taught us like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but a lot of those things are also from the beginning too.
What?
Is there something on there that you think I need to add?
Well, no, I mean, the thing about it is a lot of it's, yeah, see, those like some of the stuff was you put in here were like abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance,
Yeah.
interfaces. A lot of like those dependency injection and things like that. That doesn't have to do with algorithms per se.
Right.
It's
Those will
just
come back
science
later.
terms.
Yeah, those will come back later when we get to the interview prep. So
Yeah.
because you guys, when you make sure you, and for me, that's gonna be a better way, a great way for you guys to touch up on your Java stuff after we do your Java OOP and Java Spring Boot stuff. once we get into interview prep. So it's gonna be a great way to kind of rehash some of the stuff you've been doing before. Because you're gonna forget a little bit of it in a couple weeks. It's not gonna be as prevalent on your minds. You're doing a kind of mix of Spring Boot and algorithms. I'll make sure that stuff is fresh. So yeah, this one's just for data structures and algorithms. But yeah, I will be.
I'm trying to
well,
think, breadth
bring that up again,
first
too.
search, no, and try, no? No,
Those are algorithms, not data structures. Again, this
Oh,
is a
those-
data
yeah,
structure,
okay,
and just
yep,
again,
yep.
vocab terminologies. And I don't want to
Yeah,
overdo
no,
this
I-
one. Yeah,
Yeah, I have this all in a big list like you had it, so I don't really have
Yeah.
them broken down to what type of they are.
yeah. I wanted this
Um,
to be very focused. So
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah. So for these, like I said, for these, you're doing the three things here: definition, use cases, and a link to an example. And then for these down here, just a 2-sentence definition, 1 to 2 sentence definition of what it is. Sound good? We're shooting for Thursday. We'll see how people are doing by then. I definitely think it's possible to get these done by Thursday. With
Note
Tuesday
the
also being an
programming
algorithm
language.
day. What's that?
Note the programming language.
Programming language? What? Huh? Who? I don't know what you're saying.
Node is a programming language, or a node,
Oh.
node is a package you install.
That's why I'm like,
just
you're.
stupid.
That's why you would confuse me. I'm like, no, it's not.
Just something you install, node.
It's a framework.
Yeah, it's a framework, exactly. Yeah, I was just goofing around. But,
Okay. That's not. That's still no. That is not Node. Node is officially called Node.js.
yes,
So may be very careful with that stuff. Yep. Node is not. Node is a data structure terminology. Is a part of data structures. Node.js is a JavaScript framework.
is the
or
JavaScript.
web. Yeah.
Can you install
server-side.
JavaScript without Node?
No, because it's browser based.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Node is what allows you now to use JavaScript for the beginning was only usable in browsers. That was it. Once Node came out, you can now do it server side. Until Node came out, you could not run it on a computer without a browser. That's why Node exists. So you can run JavaScript code without a browser. All right. That's that. Let's go ahead and assign that now.
Node.js basically compiles JavaScript code.
Yep. Well, I would say compiles. It's a runtime interpreter.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it's a runtime interpreter. So instead of having the browser interpret it, your server, the node is an interpreter. So it'll interpret the JavaScript for you. Babel and Webpack. Webpack is a JavaScript compiler. Webpack will take your JavaScript and compile it to a browser-friendly JavaScript. It allows you to use stuff like ES6 and stuff like that.
That I didn't know. That's good to know.
Yep. Yeah, most several of ES6, ES7, 8, and all that, and a lot of the futuristic JavaScript that is completely valid and usable. Not all browsers support, and so Webpack and Babel, those two are used in combination, compiles your JavaScript code down to the most prevalently used JavaScript. So it'll take your modern JavaScript and compile it into browser-friendly JavaScript or low-level JavaScript. Yep. So you can definitely write JavaScript in a compilation way, but it is still never compiled in a way for the computer to run the code. The computer will never run JavaScript code. That's why no matter how good you write your JavaScript code, JavaScript will always beat it in performance. As hard as it is for me to say that, being such a strong, like a long-term JavaScript developer, Java is better in processing, hands down, to JavaScript, because JavaScript will always be interpreted. Java at least has the potential to be turned into assembly code or into machine code. JavaScript cannot be run on, as machine code.
Oh.
Yep.
Hmm.
Listen, I'm not aware of any sort of machine code compiling JavaScript tool. It could be one by now, but I'm not aware of one. Anyway, let me finish making this assignment.
Oop, a potential thing to make.
Not sure how many people would actually use it, but I guess, yeah, you could argue that it's potentially possible to build a compiler for that. Again, React, all that is, React is just a compiler for Java to take your JavaScript code and turn it into Java code for Android and Swift code for Apple or Objective-C, sorry. So React itself is, or React Native, sorry. React Native is a compiler for JavaScript code to turn JavaScript code into Swift or / Objective-C code and Java code for Android and Java respectively, for Android and Apple respectively. So yeah, there are
think
compilers that'll
Kotlin's
take your
also
language and switch it. What's that?
I think Kotlin's also used for Android now.
I think that is. I believe I heard that too. Yeah, but it's still Java. Kotlin is still Java.
Yeah, it still runs off of JVM.
Yep. That's it. That's the terminology. Yeah, that's why you can use it on Android. Bro, data structure. Vocabulary. And I'm going to prefix this as Java homework, even though I said to not really pin this to Java. Just that way it's going to be on the topic and it keeps it organized. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this document that will give you guys your own copy of the document. So you don't have to worry about copying it yourself or anything like that. So you'll just be able to edit the document directly. There you go. So make up each, you'll have a data structure and algorithm vocabulary dash your name. So it is your document. You'll be able to type directly to it. If you want to use that one, or you can even use a different one if you want. Just make sure you attach your, if you don't edit this one, you attach the document that you did modify. So that's gonna be not Friday, it's gonna be next Thursday, which is the 3rd, already February. Fine. All right, sign that. Yeah, February is OpenShift month and interview prep month. That works perfectly. All right, back to React. Where's IntelliJ? I don't have you open right now. I have that open. What do I have? Oh, there's IntelliJ. Like I know I have you open somewhere. Let's get demo open. Yeah, 1 hour. Start. Make sure we're running here on our backend. Ooh, I don't want that in there. Not that it matters, but it's not needed. Damn you. Stop telling me to update the middle class. Before or after. There we go. Here. Right, again, sanity check, make sure we remember where we were. Right here we go. Not that. 20, that one. Test. All good, Nathan. Click on, looking at 13. We now have our banner with our name, a placeholder for the avatar, and then an add friend and a block friend. For anyone who did leave early on Tuesday, by the way, not Tuesday, Monday, right before the end of it, we did add a couple icons. So if you do check the end of the video, you'll see how to do that. If you don't have them, not important. You don't need them to follow along. So not having them will not affect your ability to follow along today. So if you don't have them, that is fine. Now I'm going to IntelliJ to this side. That way I got the browser here, there, and there. That's neat. All right. Got all that. Last thing I'm going to do quick is just add another section, like I said, for the lorem ipsum text for the about me, and then a placeholder where the friends will go once we are friends. Yeah, this div is going to hold both the lorem ipsum and the friends. So this has 2 items. That is going to be another row. So. Take a look at the code right here. We're going to pretty much mimic this code again to an extent, except for the flex end. We don't want the flex end. Display. I've got the double bracket. Dang it. And I'm doing an equal sign instead of colon. Flex direction.
Does single quote or double quote mean any difference?
In Java, no. JavaScript, sorry.
JavaScript, no.
JavaScript doesn't care.
Just want to make sure.
Yep.
Didn't wanna-
JavaScript does not have a differentiation between characters and strings. I do believe the difference is in a single quote, you cannot do escapes. So if you want to do like a new line character or anything like that, you cannot do that in a single quote. I believe, if I remember correctly. At least that was true at one point. All right, or in some language. There's that one. Width. Percent. Max width. Yes. All right. Next div is going to be our about me section. So we'll do div, and we know this one is going to be style. We no longer have our layout written, but look like what we wanted it to look like. Squares. We had there's the website, there's the page itself. We have the banner with the avatar and cohort. We have our buttons right here. And we have the friends list here about this big, and then our Norm Ipsum about me, and then our friends list here. What would you say the ratio of that is?
It'd be like, isn't it like 50 of
Two to one.
Laura Ipsum's like 50 to 75% on the page?
You're saying this is 75%?
It's like 66%, I would say.
You're
Yeah,
saying 2/3 to a third? Again?
yeah,
All right, we'll do that again.
yeah, I would agree with
Because we
that.
had 1/3 to 2/3 again, so it'd be 2/3 to 1/3. Okay, we can do that again. I was
Yeah.
gonna be open to either that or fourth, like 35%, 25%. I would have been fine with that. But yeah, thirds are fine. So flex, and this one again. So this
Kind
one
of just depends on how long your friends' names are. If you have one that's like completely, misaplex.
Yeah, again, luckily for us, Flexbox will automatically word wrap. So
Okay,
no big deal
good.
there. Yep. Flex here though. So again, we want to do a total of 3 sections, with this one taking up 2 and this one taking 1. So what is our flex number? What are we adding here for the number of flex?
2.
Yeah. So we're going to give 1 to the other one. And then we want to have a total of 3. So if there's a total of 3, this one gets 2 out of 3, this one gets 1 out of 3. And that. When you're evaluating your ratio, you take the total ratio that you want to have, and then you divvy them up depending on how much of the ratio you want that one to have. So you always keep in mind, my total here, I have 3 total segments. 2 go here, 1 goes here. If I had 4 total segments, I would give 3 to here, 1 to here, so my flex here would be 3. So that's what you want to remind yourself. How much am I breaking this down to? And then I can divvy those up into the pieces. So flex 2. I'm going to go ahead and switch this back. This one's going to be a flex direction column. We do want to make sure that we have our about me header and then the lorem ipsum right below. Flex direction column. With 100%. You want to fill up the whole space. That should be fine. First thing that I'm going to do is H2. We're going to do H2 because, again, this is below everything, so it's kind of lower. We have the H1 above. We could even make this an H3, I think, because I think we did H1 and H2 up here, didn't we? H1 and H2. So we could do H3 if we wanted, but H2 is fine. Which again, probably should change later on and make this maybe like a tagline or something, and then their blurb. But it's fine to be kind of 1990 for a little while, or maybe 2000. Would this be 2000? This might be 2000. MySpace, Facebook era, yeah. Facebook era, yeah. About me, actually, I think about me in MySpace era, so that might be 1900 still. Remember, when did MySpace come out?
2003.
2003. All right, so it is 2000. All right. P tag, and this is where we're gonna put our lorem ipsum. Just for the fun of it though, I don't want to just paste a bunch of lorem ipsum here, so I'm actually going to create a little asset for myself. New file, lorem ipsum.js. I'm going to pop over to the lorem ipsum website.
I spelled that wrong.
It's exactly how you sound it, lorem ipsum. I'm gonna get myself 10 paragraphs. I have a nice large file for myself.
That's right, too.
Copy it all. Do export default. Oh, no, const. String, not that, triple string, sorry. Do something called a triple string. That makes it a multi-line string on JavaScript. That's not that one. Is it? Oh, how would you do that again? Backtick? Or just backticks in general are multi-lined. Yep, multi-line can be a backtick. But this file alone, I'm going to enable word wrap. Can I do that on one file? We'll find out. It's fine. You can see I have all my text there. I'm going to do export default lorem. Save and close. Now I'm going to do here is under the p tag. I'm going to do. Well, first I got to import it. My bad. Import lorem. Assets. Or some. I'm going to use something called substring. So substring will allow me to pull a certain number of characters out of it. So I'm just going to do here p bracket lorem dot substring 0. I'm going to pull in, let's say 150 characters. Why is it upset? Oh, I didn't put a closing parenthesis. There we go. And then I can adjust that as I feel need. And I can, again, this is now a file I can put in other projects of mine, and I don't have a bunch of junk text that looks like we just, like, I don't have all this in my profile file. I didn't want to paste this into the profile file because that's going to look kind of ugly. That's why I did this separate. Of course, you can paste it, copy paste into the p tag. But this case, later on, I can just replace this one line here with the profile.about. That's the other main reason why I did this. It's only a lot easier for me to clean this up and remove it later on when I finally have the data that I want, instead of trying to remove a bunch of lines of text. Make sense? Yeah, this is one of those little tricks to kind of just keep your code clean. Taking large chunks of stuff and putting it in a separate item so you can remove it easier later. And again, reusable. Any questions on how that works? Right. Div to friends. And for the moment, it's just going to say P, you are not friends. So I can't see their friend list. We'll update that later once we actually pull it, once we actually start building the logic. At the moment though, we're just going to show you're not friends yet. Wah, wah. All right. This again, placeholder really, just make sure that everything works. So with that, let's go look at our code, our page, and see what we get. It's kind of like what I want, huh? Clear out our item there now. We don't really need that. How's that look? It's technically not true. You just don't know who this person is. Actually, that doesn't really fit, but whatever. It's funny. Thank you, Jim. That doesn't really fit because I could have other friends. I'm just not friends with Cliff 13 yet.
Yeah, you have like no friends. You're just all by yourself in the
I'm
world.
friends with Taylor, even though he's upset that I keep calling his name wrong.
Oh, that's true.
Upset, perturbed, yeah.
That's true. You do have a friend for this one.
Yeah, I do. I have 2 friends actually. I'm also friends with Cliff 20 or Cliff 12, whatever it is. 15? I don't even remember the other. I don't even remember the other Cliff friend. I'm friends with the other Cliff clones. What do you think? Should we add a couple more characters?
Can
Yeah.
we go around
Let's
and
think about
debug
it.
before we go too far?
Of course, yeah. We do, just a heads up, we do have 803 words. So because we did characters, we probably had a couple more. So
I was just wondering about how much you can fill this whole box up before the page is considered like full. Like what's the on that whole thing?
Oh, there's no limit. What are you doing? Like except for your computer. But yeah, let's do some debugging first. See what people got. So, you want to start it, Matt?
Sure. 1 second. Okay. So I went to the developer page and a bunch of stuff crashed. And I don't know why, because this was working last class and I didn't change the developer.name, but somehow it's undefined.
We should. I'm not access. Wait, oh, yeah, you are. Are you logged in?
Yeah, I made a new
Yeah.
account.
Well, he's got an array on top.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see an individual ID of 26 though. All right.
Profile, what's display pro? Is that the
You go back to the developer list. Just the
Here?
list of developers. No, just on your web page.
Oh,
yeah. Just
yeah.
go back to /developers, and yeah. Probably logged out now.
Oh, I have to-
Yeah.
I had to sign up again.
Remember your passwords.
I barely remember the passwords that I use in real life. And it's not the passwords. I use the same password for all of them. It's the email that I have the problem
Oh.
with.
So just create a generic one like I do. Flip something, flip, and then a number. Just remember the number.
All right,
There
let me
you go.
see if I
Matt
can remember that.
Lead.
That
You forgot the- you forgot
337
the
is
one.
337 is a number that I just use, so I
Ah,
wasn't even thinking for
eat.
leet.
Yeah, so you haven't got rid of those. Hey, yours actually recognizes that you entered a password. Nice. All right, let's click one. Huh. Scroll up a little bit there. Got another
Yeah.
error. So we get developer name and time. What's this other one? Keep going.
profile component app router?
Scroll down. Error occurred in the profile component. App router. Oh yeah, and div. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, app router does load the item, so div, and then the div. So scroll up again. Developer name is undefined, so it's not getting the developer, is it? Yeah, I don't see. It's got developers. Go back to your code.
Sure.
Do you have a spinner? Maybe?
No, I don't. I haven't put it in yet.
Well, that's gonna, because yeah, when you first pull up the component, it tries to load the component, but if you scroll up to the top, we start with developer as an object without ID. So hold on. Dot name is undefined. So yeah, it's looking for dot name, and that doesn't exist. It doesn't have that key. So we should still print out just null then, or undefined. It's the error
Yeah,
message again.
It was working last class.
Developer.name is undefined. Why does it care? It should just display blank to start then. Why does yours care so much? Go back to your code now.
Sure.
Down a little. Scroll down, sorry. More, I want to see what's trying to pull that. I don't know why it's upset about it. Keep going, keep going. Keep going. I want to see the developer.name. Oh, you're trying to run a method on it.
Oh, yeah.
That's why. Yeah, if you're
Oh.
running a name against something that doesn't exist yet, it won't.
Oh,
It can't do
okay.
it. Yeah, you can't. Two uppercase
Alright.
doesn't exist on undefined.
Let's pop
So,
that out and see.
yeah.
Then. Okay,
Without
there.
the spinner, yeah. Mine works because I have the spinner. Yours won't. 'cause you don't have the
Oh.
spinner. Yeah,
Got it.
it tries to
none
do
of this-
dot uppercase to undefined. Not sure why your
That's-
CSS isn't working right.
Well, yeah. It's odd that's not getting the name though. This was working last time. Let me pop back. Am I logged out? Yeah, I'm logged out now. All right, let me see if I can remember this.
That's probably why I didn't pull it this time, because when you refreshed, it logs you out. The error probably also logs you out too.
And Matt,
Hmm.
good suggestions.
Yeah, what's up?
Use like for emails. Why don't you just use like D&D characters or things you remember, and then you can just know what they are.
Yeah,
Email.
that is a lot smarter than
What I did was I
Oh,
did hocus
that one
pocus.
works.
Yeah,
I did hocus pocus.
like I said,
and
when you ran into the
umbrella.
error, hold on, Jim. When you ran into an
Yep.
error, it crashed your item and made it so it wouldn't load. Wait, what the hell? Where's the styling going?
Fine touch. Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, the styling's fine. You're just not centered. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good,
Um,
working.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, when you crash, it logs you out because it has to reboot the
Right.
system. So it
Okay.
clear out the logins. That's why the first time we got it, it didn't crash, but it also didn't load anything. Yeah. Yeah, when
I
you try to
wonder-
do dot two, again, I have a spinner, so it never
Mhm.
tries to do dot two uppercase against an undefined name by the
Oh.
time, yeah. So yours tries to do dot two
Oh.
upper on an undefined name.
Fine. So it's
If you
just
want to put
not
that in-
there yet.
Right, and it's undefined.
Okay.
Well, yeah. If you wanted to, you could put a blank name character key into your
Mhm.
into the default of it. So if you go back to your code quick.
So it's initialized as something before
Exactly.
it gets overridden.
So
Got it.
It's initialized to a string. It needs to be initialized to
Yep.
a string because only
So
strings
that
have
it
that
can
two
be
upper method.
To uppercase. Yep, sure.
It can be empty to start. That way it doesn't show
Yeah,
anything, but
'cause
at least it'll be a valid method.
You can't uppercase null. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can uppercase undefined. Be aware it's different.
Oh, right,
Null and
that's right.
undefined are not the same.
So the spinner just keeps going and going and going until the await returns back to give him the uppercase. Because
To give him
it
the
gives you
data.
back, it gives you back data
Yeah.
that you can actually work on that.
Exactly. So by the time then
Yeah.
we load that component, that JSX component has the developer.name.to uppercase, our name actually has a string in it. So for those of us who have mine that has the spinner, that's why mine doesn't crash because it doesn't attempt the dot to uppercase until the the use effect finishes and pulls the data down and sets it to my state. Once
So
the
his
state
right
is
now is
updated,
going, yeah,
it then shows.
this is going right now. His is bringing in, it hasn't even got the information from the await state
Right.
yet. And it's just saying,
Exactly.
well, I don't have anything, so I'm gonna just go crash. All right.
Well, that's it. Again, you're trying to run a method that doesn't exist on an undefined. Undefined does not have a two uppercase function. So guess what's that? But yeah.
Happy with that being the problem and not anything else.
Nope, that was it. Yep. Yeah, main thing, that's part of the reason also why we do the set developer before we do set loading. Because if I actually swap these, then there's a possibility it would fail because I would be attempting to print the name before I set the name. So that's why it's very important that I did set developer first and then set loading false to make
Right.
sure that name has a value first before I stop showing the spinner. Because this is what turns the spinner off. Right here, this line right here turns off the spinner. All right.
Mhm.
Cool. So let's go ahead and I'm going to pop this up to 1,000 now. Just to showcase what that looks like. See how many characters we actually have. We could add in a method, of course, of ourselves for that lorem ipsum thing that we have. We could turn it ourselves and say, hey, pull up a certain words, and we could tell it to find a certain number of words. Holy crap, that's a lot. No,
I
it's
got
great.
Jim fill a page.
10,000.
There
More
we go.
paragraphs. Oh crap, the new lines weren't captured. Fun. God dang it. Right, let me just double check again. Hold on. JavaScript. Line string. What was the syntax for that again? Backtick, yeah, but that didn't work with the new lines. Like that.
There we go. A little further down.
I might just put this in, but it's fine the way it is though. It's fine. I don't need 10,000 though. I'm just gonna do 5,000. It's fine. Why? This is that Apple does that I don't like. It'll reorganize these as I go left and right without me telling it to. That's the one thing that Apple does right now that pisses me off. And that's on recording and I don't mind it. Do not move these around me automatically. I memorize the order and I put them in a specific order. Stop moving them. I know it's like, hey, you keep using this one, so I'm going to move it more to the left. No. I know the order. If I want it moved, I will move it. 5,000. There you go. What's this do again? I don't want to go away. Listen to this document. That's new. That could be useful though later. There. So that's fine. I can shorten it if I want more, but I can. I want to see kind of a good amount of filling. So there we go. We got it. This kind of looks like a very old school profile page now, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Like an actual website from like old school MySpace or Facebook or something. So not bad for something we built in like only a couple days really from class. So that's what's really cool about this stuff. We can build some pretty decent websites, especially once you start working with, like, again, React, and you get some okay CSS, especially CSS that has already been pre-built from previous projects. So take advantage of that stuff. This is how you can make good websites over time, is you get better at it over time because you start building reusable component. That's why it's really important for you to make code that is reusable. It's going to make you a better developer, and it's going to make your life easier moving forward to future projects. Every project you build should be easier than the last one because you're bringing knowledge and bringing code from the previous projects. So it's always good to make code in a way that is usable and reusable. And that's why we said before in the definition of an algorithm, repeatable. I wanted to make sure you guys said that with the definition of an algorithm on Tuesday. Repetitive, repeatable. We want that in code. Code is all about reusability. We hate to repeat ourselves. What is the acronym? Dry. Yes, we want dry. So we've talked about clean code. Don't forget about we want dry code too. Remember what dry means.
Don't repeat yourself.
Repeat yourself.
Yes, don't repeat yourself. And we don't, as a developer though, you don't believe in that and just in your code writing where you keep repeating if statements or keep repeating lines of code. We also don't want to repeat typing out stuff we've typed out before. And that's why it's really good for us. We want to rewrite or write good, clean code that is reusable because then we don't repeat ourselves in future projects. We can just grab that package or grab that component or grab that function or method or class from our previous project and just bring it right in. You don't have to retype it out. All right, cool. Let's keep up with it going on with this. What we might want to do is add a little padding though, because I'm seeing this being very, very close to each other. So we should add a little padding. So over here in this one, we'll do do 4px. Do that. Same with the friends tag. We'll do, oh, and I didn't add any style to this yet. God dang it. Someone called me out on that.
It was
Flex.
fine.
One, it actually wasn't. It felt small to me, and now I see that it definitely was. So it was actually only giving it enough space to fit this text. And that's it.
Yeah.
This text was defining the width. Flex one. Also, since these are divs, I forgot to do
It actually
this.
lined up with the block button, so it kind of made it look nice.
Cool. Display flex. I really should add that to our app CSS to turn all divs into flex, not block by default. But I keep putting it off. Flex direction, column, fit. There it goes, it pushes it over. That looks more right, yeah. There to there, good. And let's add some padding here. And we'll do 4px. Yep. That way these two aren't as close as they were before. And if we wanted to add like borders and stuff to really clean it up or make something a little more bordery like, we could. That's all good. All right. Next up, let's actually work on the add friend button. Or what do you think would be easier? Block first, you think? Should we make the block button easier first, or should we do the add friend button first? What do you want to do? I think we'll do the add friend button and then have you guys do the block, think of the block button over the weekend. That'll be good. We'll finish up on Monday and then, yeah, finish it all up on Monday. Like reviewing that. That could be a good assignment because we're at, no, maybe not. We'll see review. But I think the add friend, since that's the more complicated one, I'd rather do that with you guys, and at the add friend approved friend system would be more complicated. So I think we'll do that together and then you guys can attempt the block button for the weekend. Potentially. I still do not worry about it. I'm not too worried about you guys being good at React. That's not a key element for me, but could be good. Anyway, here we go. So const friend. Yep, not there. Cool. Arrow. There we go. So to add friend, we're going to go ahead and send ID to backend. So we're going to be working with backend again. We're going to need our Axios, and this is going to be what type of function? need to work with our backend.
Post?
No, well, we are going to use
Use-
post method.
use state.
Yeah, we'll wait on that. No, use state again. We are going to use state, but yeah, we are going to need that at some point.
Asynchronous?
There it is, Matt. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
it'd be an async function. We'll have to wait for the system to reply, right?
grab the, what route we're getting, or post what route type we're getting.
I would have asked for what route, not what type of function this is. But yes, we are going to do a post request. So let's create our data object, right? Because it is a post. So const data. And if I remember correctly, let's see if anyone remembers though, for our add friend route, what do we want? So we know we get the, maybe do we need data? Well, actually, let's go look. Instead of me just saying we need that, let's go look. And that's something that's okay to do. Let's go look at our relationship controller. We have a get mapping of friends, not what we want. We have a delete mapping, no. We have a post mapping approved, now that doesn't sound right. Over here, we have a post mapping of block, no, that doesn't look right. Let's see, post mapping, add, there we go. Add RID, and we have a path variable. Are we using the body at all? Taylor's correct.
No.
There, Mike is, yep. Yeah, we're not using the body at all, so we only have a path variable here, so we don't need a data to object. We just need to send the post mapping to the URL. Cool, so we don't need data. Nice. Mike is just gonna do, oh, let's do try catch, of course. Always gonna do a try catch when doing Axios. Console.log, message. If this is just a safety one, I'm going to give you guys this a little bit. E dot response. Log. E dot response dot data dot message. So this is something so this again can trigger if there's any error in your code up here. So this is an error message. This is a catch that some of your JavaScript code in the try block didn't work. It's not the Axios that failed. This is what's true. This is what you'll get if the other code fails. This is what you get when Axios fails. If Axios is what fails, you'll have a response item in your catch E. If Axios is not what failed, then you won't actually have this. So trying to access data and message will cause an issue because you'll try to access data of undefined. You'll get an undefined error. So that's why I do these two things.
So the E dot response is coming back from the back end, where the E dot message is coming from the front end.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
And you only have a response if it's the Axios that broke or failed because of the server. So 404, 500, whatever that, any of those items. So try Axios
I
dot.
think you need a semicolon on line 51.
Technically, yeah, we probably should be good on our practice that. Probably keep practicing your semicolon behaviors in JavaScript, even though JavaScript doesn't care as much. Be good on your semicolons. That's your Java developers mostly. Try Axios dot post. URL, we're going to use our backticks again so we can inject data. I'm going to do http localhost 8080, I think, right?
Yes.
API / relationships / add / $bracket. That's our syntax for the backticks. What are we putting in here? Someone other than Mike down. Mike's been asking a lot, answering a lot. Come on, someone else beat Matt. Matt's been doing a lot. Come on, people, beat him.
The recipient ID.
Who's the recipient ID? Where is that stored in here? Where would we have that? You are correct. Where would we have that? There's all of our variables at the top there.
ID params dev ID.
Kind of like that's definitely what we want, but I can't access it that way. I'm not going to try to access it via params.
Is it
Would
the
the
use state
developer
or
have
the
it?
developer?
Developer.id.
Yeah, come on, people. Simple. Developer.id. We want to befriend the developer we're looking at. So we're going to put his ID.
Oh, right. I thought that was the ID of, I thought that was the current user ID.
Nope. That's the idea of the profile we're looking at, which I guess technically could be you if you're looking at your own. And again, in this, in our current system, you can send yourself a request. You can definitely befriend yourself, which if that's not narcissistic, I don't know what is. We have that. We also need, again, since this is an authenticated route, we're going to go ahead and do our options object. And again, it's an object, but then does headers, which is another object. I'm going to go ahead and do same thing we see above, authorization, colon, backticks, error, $, bracket, auth dot token. There we go. Last thing we do is make sure we save this. The result, the response we get back, we do need to save that response. So const res equals result. All we're expecting back here is a 200 OK. We're not actually expecting any of the actual relationship content. If we look back over here, we can take a look. Add, we can take a look and see response entity. Nice try, be patient. You can see down here, success. So all we get back is a 200 or 201, sorry, with success. So as long as we get one of these, success, GG. Forgot about that one. We're blocked. Already friends, that's fine. We can just leave it. Please stop typing. I forgot we had that. And then server area default relationship. Nice. Yeah, so we have all those. So yeah, we're just expecting either a 201, a 200, or a 200. So those are the ones we want. In this case, we don't have to do anything if it's a response. We don't need to care about it. So honestly, I'm just going to get rid of this for the moment. We can add stuff later once we add in the logic to, because we don't want this button here, add friend, to show anymore once it works, right? So we are going to need to eventually add some logic to this, and including pulling down our friends and adding it to our auth profile at some point. So we do need to have our relationships in our auth profile. We need both our active friends and our pending friends, right?
Mhm.
We're going to need both the pending friends and the active friends. Do we have a way to pull down our pending friends yet?
No.
No, we only create a way to get our active friends, don't we?
Mhm.
So there's no way for me to know how to change this to a request sent. I could show it saying request sent, or just, I guess I could just not show the button though, if the relationship exists. I don't even need to let them know what the status is. I can also just change this to a remove friend button. Even if I'm not approved yet, I can remove this. I can make this the remove friend button at some point. Okay, so keep the block button there. So anytime the person can block you. We could also change it where you can only block via our UI if you unfriend them first. So you have to unfriend, then block in our system. We could actually set that system up if we wanted to. But at the same time, we know in our backend doesn't care if you click block and you're already friends with them, it will then block that person. So our backend doesn't care. But again, your UI does not have, your front end does not have to interact with the backend the way you design the backend. You can interact with the backend however you want your user experience to behave. So always be aware of that. So even though our backend, our API does allow you to block an active friend, our front end may decide, you know what, I don't want to show the block button because it might be bad to have, since we have no way of unblocking someone. What if a friend accidentally clicks the button? So if I accidentally click this button, let's say I'm on my tablet and on my phone, I just accidentally hit it with my finger while I'm trying to scroll, or it falls and I pick up my phone, my finger hits it. I don't want to trigger a block, then now I can't unblock them. I have no way of unblocking people. Like, be a really bad user experience, right? I just blocked Taylor and he's like, what'd I do? Like, I swear it's an accident. I swear. Sure it is. That's why you call me Tyler all the time, isn't it?
Doesn't want me to see all the geek outs where he accidentally tags me with the wrong name.
Oof.
There you go. Yeah, that's a possibility, I guess. That's the thing. Why would Taylor believe me when I said him it's just an accident? Or hell, if let's say Taylor did it, why should I believe him? He's probably, again, he's so angry at me for how many times I called him Tyler. He just decided to block me finally. He's like, I'm done with this. I'm blocking this guy. I'm done with it. It's like, why should I believe that? He's like, no, sir, I swear it was an accident. I didn't mean to tap it. Sure you did, Taylor. So.
Social media and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race.
Exactly, there you go.
You're not kidding.
So.
The battlefield that is Twitter.
I'm showing that right now. So yeah, maybe in our front end, we decide to hide the block button when you're friends and require you to unfriend first, then block. Again, our back end may not require that, but our front end could. That's something that's really nice to know that you can do. Your back end does not dictate completely what your front end does. But again, you cannot do things unless your back end does allow it. So your back end should usually allow for more than what the front end may do. So your back end may allow more than your front end actually does. It's very common for the back end to be much more open to doing things than your front end allows. And this is also where APIs and tools for certain websites are allowed. What you do on Twitter is not what you can do. You can do more with the Twitter API than you can do on just using Twitter's interface. There's way more that you can do if you can pull down that information, pull down that data. So 100%, the APIs 100% should be more, should have more features than your website should even have, because who cares? Again, you never know what your users might want. And so at any time you want to be able to then add more features to the front end. Cool. Spiel there. We'll add that in a second. But again, first things first, we want to make sure we can actually add a friend and we can check on the back end to see if it's there. Then we'll go ahead and implement a way of pulling that down so then we can put the remove friend button here. Let's do this. Click this, add this to the button. So let's move add friend. We'll go to our button, add friend. Where is it? Here it is. So here's our button. Add friend. Very simple.
Okay.
Save that. We're here. Let me go make sure terminal. Do I have, am I still in my SQL? I am. No, it's running, so I'm not in it. So no other way of looking at those. So -u, root -p. S. Go. Legs. Go, so we can see them. We should see a new one pop in called pending as soon as I hit that button. Ooh, I should probably, no, actually, before I do that, I'm also going to add just an alert saying success, actually, just to make sure that it finishes. So. There we go. Friend, we get the success message. Nothing changes on our front end though. Let's go ahead and take a look at the database. Nothing added, unless, is that the person? I wonder. 8 and 5. 7. No, I don't like that. I got a 401 actually. Why? I got a 401. 401 is bad, is a bad one.
Oh,
Unauthorized. Full authentication is required to access this resource. I did. Did I type that right? 401 is a bad, right? Hold on. Did I respond with a 401 anywhere in this? Let's see. Bad request, invalid user. What? Oh, right. I rebooted the server. No, wait. No, I should be logged in. I'm logged in. Fresh. Let's try. Log in. 20. Test. 12. 401 should have triggered a catch. That's weird. Nope. I got a 401. That's weird. Full authentication is required to access this resource. I am logged in. What is going on here? Anybody getting the same error?
I'm getting a different error, I think. Mine doesn't like my JWT string.
Really? That goes on. Let me check on that. Error token. That's fine. Interesting. Try using that token ourselves. Weird. Do that later. Here. Add 3. Authorization, error token, paste. This will let me know if it's my front end that's a problem or my back end. If this fails here, then we know something wrong with the back end is not behaving right. And so again, I grabbed this key right from the payload inside of the network tab. So network tab, I can see the payload here. I can see that authorization token we tried to use. So I'm using the exact same token that my system tried to use instead of getting a different one. If this one doesn't work, I can also try getting a different token as well. You see this thing going on there. So I'm gonna check on that too. Send method not allowed. I did a get. Dang it. Post. Send. Got success back. All right, that's interesting. There's definitely something wrong with the front end. Fun. Let's find out why. Potentially wrong here. Token error. Do this. Do this. Not there. Nothing changed. All right. Don't type it wrong. Anyone seen anything wrong with these? Because this did work, right? We were able to pull the user down. So we were able to pull the user with that token.
Do we need to put an await in front of this Axios?
Son of a crap. Yep. Probably. I don't know actually, because that. Well, at least it should trigger an error, maybe, or at least it will stop. It won't give you the alert message because we're getting these later. Yeah, we're still getting the message though. We're still gonna get the error message actually though. So that shouldn't trigger a problem. It's just we won't get the success alert if we get a catch now. I did realize that's why we were getting the success even though it wasn't successful. That does explain why we were getting the success anyway. Yeah, there's my pending. So. Something wrong with it. This one worked.
Cliff,
Yeah.
in the code, you're adding a developer ID. Shouldn't you be adding the other person, or you're adding yourself?
No, that is the other person. So again, the current user is from this.
Okay,
This is the
oh,
current
yeah, for
user.
the token, is the current user, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is the person we're trying to befriend. And it's
All right.
upset about my token, it seems, which is really weird because we use that exact same token for pulling the data. You can see that right here. So here we use a get. Oh, wait, no. I know what I did wrong. It has to do with the post. So in a get, this URL, the second item is the request options. In a post, this is the URL, and then this is the body. This is not the options. So I sent a body of headers. What I need to do is this. Send an empty body.
Send an empty body beforehand. Okay.
Yep, because this was being treated as the post body, not the post options. This is the post body. So the order of how the Axios.post works is that. Yeah, that one was difficult for you guys to realize, and that's just me finally I'm glad I even noticed that because that could have taken me a while. I got lucky on that one. Yeah, that's why this is working. Yeah, payload. No payload. I was noticing I wasn't seeing the payload here. So, yep, that should do it now. So do that. Let's hit add friend now and success. And I see the number 3 right there with the green. Go back to the database. There it is. Okay. Token was fine. See, small errors can be a pain.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, just empty item here to send the body in. We aren't actually sending anybody, so we're just sending a blank object. I'm gonna add this as a note for anyone who comes in later. So later on, you guys can see that. Make sure you realize it. Okay, need that.
Hey, I got it to work and I debugged it myself. Nice.
Awesome. Good to hear. All right, so we have that. Oh boy. Anyway, let's fix this up a bit. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add in the ability to pull down the friends, get the friend list, and get a pending friend list. It's 2 separate items again, because we do want those separate, so we can tell the difference. So we do not want to pull down them at the same time. If we go back to our code in IntelliJ, we look at our relationship repository. Quick, oop. So there, let's pull this over quick. You see that the tool we're using to find our friends is this one right here, and it doesn't specify a specific type. So we can reuse this for both our friends and our pending friends. So you can use that for pending as well. You can even use it for blocked too. So you can also decide whether or not to show that person as well. So this was really useful here. We can do the whole thing. So we're just going to head back over to our I'm going to go to developer controller though. So I'm going to do something a little bit different here. And at the same time, I'm also going to go over to my payload. Where's payloads? Response. And we're going to add in a self-developer now. So we have friend developer. We'll use formatted developer actually. We'll use that. Wait, we have friend developer. Friend developer pulls just the friends. We don't want pending friends. We just want their friends. For our public developer, we don't pull friends. But for our self-developer, we're going to pull our friends as well as our pending friends as well.
Friends.
We also want to pull down the pending friends. And we may later on also want to pull out the friends that we've blocked. We don't want to pull down the people that have blocked us because we don't want anyone sniffing the data to be able to see who blocked us.
Right.
That's going to come later on. We could still pull it down, but most likely what will happen is that that kind of stuff will happen in the back end. We will pull the people who blocked this person so we can make sure we don't pull that from the SQL queries. So later on, we'll also put in something where we can put in a not ID. So we'll be able to put in a pull all developers except these. So we can then exclude certain developers. There's a bit more like I will say with this kind of stuff, once you start getting involved in blocking, your repository stuff can get a little more fancy and a little more complicated with that stuff. And it may be not a bad idea to look into a friendship model package or somebody that maybe created this kind of system already that may exist if your system relies heavily on this stuff. Something to consider, but at the same time, it's good practice. Like I said, does your system has to be perfect for the version 1? No. So don't worry too much about blocking right away. You're not putting this on Apple Store where they require it. So don't worry about it so much. And again, that is something you can always be saying and put on your to-do and put on your issues system in GitHub as something you're working on. So don't really think that everything I'm doing today you have to do and everything I'm mentioning is something you have to do. But for now, let's just create a quick version of this where we can actually bring in and go ahead and build out the self-developer that will pull down all data plus 2 additional items that aren't part of the developer class, friends, and pending. So response, new Java class, self-developer. Here, I'm gonna actually get the developer over here on the side, so we can just make sure I get all the keys. So do D string main string email. And this is something where I can actually include the email now. So we weren't including the email, I think, in either of the other ones, which is actually kind of nice. So that works. Cool. Private integer set developer set either friends set developer pending. Or actually set developer waiting. Any guesses what that one means based on the name?
That would be requests that you've sent out that haven't been approved yet.
Wouldn't it be pending friends?
Oh, all right. I have the other way around then. This would be requests that you're waiting to approve.
Yes. That they're waiting for me to approve. Yeah, these again, that's what
Okay.
I thought of when I first. I had to think of it really quick because I was typing it out fast. So we
That's
don't
what I
have a
thought
better name
pending
for
friends
it.
were.
Well, that's the thing. We could do it either way. What do you guys think? Which one is? So you need to decide which one is the ones that we're waiting on others, and which ones are the ones waiting on us.
Received or sent. Requests that you've sent and requests that you've received.
Right. Which one's which? So you want to
Well,
do sent friends and waiting friends, or received friends?
yeah. Or sent. Well,
Yeah, what do we
I want to
name
keep the word
variable?
economy small.
The whole thing is, my thing, pending friends, we already have it pending in our database, so we should keep pending at least because that
okay.
responds to that.
All right.
The awaiting one can be either kept that or changed. That's an open one for me, I would say.
So these are the ones we've sent. So these are the ones we've sent that we're waiting for them to approve. So these are ones that they're waiting that are ones that we need to approve that have sent to us. So what should we call it? Any I'll take any recommendations.
Well, incoming.
Ooh, I like that.
I like
Ooh, that's
that.
good. That's good.
That's good. I like
You
that.
can even update this as outgoing friends. What do you think?
Yeah.
The database thing that Jim pointed out.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I would keep it is because it is connected to our database, but it does, again, that concept of pending friends doesn't really hint as to isn't obvious that it's the ones we're waiting on. It could be pending friends that people are waiting on us. So I do like outgoing makes it very explicitly stating that these are friend requests that I've sent. They're outgoing friend requests. I actually really like incoming. So what do you guys think though? Switch this to outgoing or keep it as pending? Or not, if it's not an easy win, I'll put up a poll. If it's not an obvious selection, if it's not an obvious answer. All right, we'll do a quick poll. It's fine. Now we no one has to be like, this is what I picked. You can vote knowing that no one will know what you decided on.
I like either or. Those were both the ways we had it.
Yeah, now you gotta pick. No one could give me a straight answer, so now we're putting in a poll, so now you have to pick one.
No sitting on the fence.
Yep.
Nope.
either one of the two terms that we're looking at. So this is going to be ones. Best thing to know is that it looks like the number of letters seems to be pretty much identical, I think. 6, 7, 8. That's 1, 2.
Kind of
3,
funny,
4, 5.
outgoing friends just feels like you have a lot of outgoing, like people who
Are
just love
leaving
to
you.
go out and do things.
Launch. Oh no, that's the wrong one.
That's
the
That's an
wrong
old poll.
That's an
Wow.
old poll.
one.
I'll take the cup.
Wow.
Launch.
Hand.
What are we building? A game of dice, a game of cards?
Yeah, no kidding. Oof.
What about instead of the word friends, we use the word requests?
I guess we could. Would have been nice to have that before. Put out the poll. I had the floor open for any options.
We do.
Need 2 more to respond, and that's not enough to win it, so I can end it. Wasn't actually as much of a fight as it was. So only one person didn't vote, and as you can see, that wouldn't have made a change. So there you go. We're going with pending friends. That works for me. Like I said, I was fine with either. Similar to Jim on that one, but it's good to have you guys participate in this. So make sure everybody's awake too, except for whoever didn't vote in time. All right. So keep it as pending friends. That's fine by me. So, yeah, there's that. And again, what's cool about it, of course, we can always add the comment saying you sent. I don't know. Sent. Waiting. And again, the goal, of course, that we were just trying to do there is that we shouldn't need these comments, but for a while, if you want to put them, you can. Again, always with your code, your goal is try to minimize the number of comments you want, because most companies don't want large amounts of comments. So that all we're going to do now is create our getter or generate constructor for. Hold on, am I missing one? Oh, languages. Not that we're using it, but still private. Set language. Oh. I can do the constructor. Generate constructor. Hold on, we don't need the empty one for that. It's not needed. Oh, I also don't need the undo that. Generate. Wait, no, yeah, never mind. I'm doing it wrong, right? Developer. So we need our. I think we need the empty. Did we? Yeah, we don't need the empty one. We just need the one that's going to build, which means we do need the one with the lists. So yeah, we do need one with lists. Okay. So, yep, that one which has the set language. Yep. Okay, so yeah, we need that. That's right. So yeah. Generate constructor with everything. Okay. Generate all our getters and setters. For everything again. Finish up with our builder. Public. Oh, developer. Build. Gonna take
Don't forget-
all the
oh,
same,
you got it.
developer. All good?
Mhm.
Okay, good. And yeah, we're just gonna do all these, and so I'm pretty much just gonna do. Take all this and then just prefix all these other items with the word developer or get developer. So this developer.getID, developer.getName, developer.getEmail. developer dot cohort developer dot get languages developer dot get friends. Well, that's not it. So now this is where things change a little bit, right? And these we're actually getting something a little bit different. And so the question is, we probably should do the logic here, right? Where did we do the logic before? When we did the logic for friend developer, what do? We did the logic inside of the friend developer, not inside of the route, because this is something based on, we only need to do the special stuff here. So let's do that here. So this dot friends is going to be we look back at our friend developer, go over here, let's make this bigger and shrink that. Oh, not you go over here. Shrink that. We take a look and see how we do this. So we did set developer friends. We did developer dot get relationships. Friends dot add all developer dot get inverse relationships. So we have those two. And so we do remember that we had this get relationships and get inverse relationship functions on developer. We had those items there. So we do have those. The next thing we want to do, of course, is make sure in our repository or somehow we can also get the pending ones. And these right now don't do that perfectly. These do get all of them, including pending, don't they? They are getting the pending. I just realized that that's not what we wanted.
Add all, we get everything, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think it's right, because I just remembered, I did look back at our database, and we have only
Except
3
the
friends, and one of these is Taylor's friendship with someone else. And when I pull up his, I do see that other relationships. This is actually pulling all statuses. This is not accurate. Let's go ahead and fix this now. So yeah, I want to do.
That'll even get the block ones too, this whole thing.
I don't think I can do repositories in here. So we're not going to do, we can't use the repositories, but we can use a service in here, I think. Trying to think what I want to do. I could also just make it say I need a list of friends. So I could do this. That. And have the route pull the friends for that developer, right?
You can't use
For the
friends
route.
though.
What's up? I
Can't
can once
use
I do this dot friends. So I can do this here. I can't do it here because it's
Oh,
yelling here.
yeah.
I'll just do-
Well, yeah, the variable's already been declared, so that's why it's.
So yeah, I wouldn't be making a variable. I would just be assigning it here. I just do friends
Yeah.
here. So this would no longer be needed because I'm going to be building
Oh.
that item later. So that's going to happen.
Okay. Oh, I see, okay.
That's how it's going to change. Nothing else I want to do. I think so. Turn that off for a second. I don't believe I can bring in. Can I auto wire? I'm trying to think though, because this isn't a bean. Yeah, this isn't a bean, so I don't believe I can bring in a repository here.
But isn't the pending and all those on an enum? Can't you just get which ones are pending by the?
Right, but I would need to access the repository.
Oh, okay.
Right. I think I want to do this. Do this right. I think I'm going to use the service, but I don't want to build the service right now. So we've already hit 9 o'clock, so I want to do this quick. So let's just add it to the route. So I don't like though, because yeah, there's a couple places I think we want to return a friend developer. I feel like. Is there more than one location we return to friend developer? I can't remember. No, just the one place? Okay, good. All right, we can do that then. So right here. Now we're going to get the friend relationships of this person. So see, this is where a nice, this is where a developer service would be nice. So the developer service has the developer repository in there and has a bunch of methods in there that we can just use. And so we would create a get friendships method for the developer, and that we could just reuse it. So I would prefer that, but yeah, Rich has to go. So yeah, there we go. I was figuring that was going to happen soon. So we'll do this here. Maybe I'll try to just add the code in here for you guys to pull down one day. We even provide a mini video on it, but it's fine. So. Developer friends, most developer friends equals relationship repository dot and my ID. No. All, that's it. Okay. Right. Yeah, original ID and type, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
We did. That's the relationship repository again. Find by originator ID and recipient ID. Oh, yeah, we don't have the type as well. Okay. Oh yeah, we don't want that either. We want find all by originator and type, find all by recipient ID and type. Yep, that's what we want. Okay. So we want to find where this person we're looking at, where they are the originator and they have a type of approved, and also where they are the recipient and type approved. We don't care about the other person because we're trying to put their entire list. So we only care where they are the originator and the recipient. So let's go back to
Oh, I was gonna
Yeah.
say,
all by originator ID and type, where it's going to be developer.getID, comma, e-relationship accepted, and then developer friends dot at all. Why is that upset? Oh, right, relationships. Whoops. Import that.
And what's the type on line 75?
Set relationship
Oh, the not for the set, the type
accepted.
accepted. Okay.
oh, okay.
We're looking for the friends here. Then we're going to add to that existing set. So the developer friends list, we're going to also add the inverse one. So that's going to be, again, relationship repository dot find all by recipient ID and type, developer dot get ID, comma, e relationships type accepted.
So you're not using the one existed by, because that only does one. This one's finding all.
Will exist by only in terms of true or false.
Yeah, okay.
Exists is Boolean, doesn't give you the list. What this is going to do, at the first line, line 55, what that's going to do is pull all the approved relationships where this developer is the originator. So in this case, let's say again, I was pulling up Taylor's profile. This line is going to pull up all the friendships that Taylor has where he's the originator, where he sent the request. The second line is then going to add to this list all the relationships where Taylor was the one who was asked to be a friend, my relationship with them, for example. I was the one who sent them the request. And let's say, in this case, just for example, let's say Travis sent Taylor a request and Taylor accepted. So this line would pull me and Travis. The first line, let's say Taylor asked Mike and Sergio to be friends and they approved. This line would pull those two. If Nathan and Jim sent Taylor requests and Taylor hasn't approved yet, and Taylor sent Emilio a request and Emilio hasn't approved yet, none of those would be pulled. And if Connor blocked Taylor, Connor wouldn't be pulled. So none of those would be pulled. And then Connor pops in when the second he hears his name called. No,
No, I turned it off because my
I
dad
know.
walked in the room.
I'm just picking on you. Just the timing was impeccable. The
The
timing was perfect.
There you go.
Semicolon there. And then what we're gonna do here now on the build, we're gonna do developer, comma, developer friends. And now we just send that list. Why is it still unhappy?
Mhm.
So that's relationships. Whoops. Wait a minute. I'm trying to think about this now. This is a set of developers friends, so I can't do that. Ah,
Oh,
crap.
you're doing relationship.
I planned this bad. Developer repository. Let me think about this for a second. So let's see if we can come up with this. Repository. Where are you? repository. So. What do we call that field again? Go back to developer is relationship and inverse relationships. So relationships. That should do it. So remember, the items can only return what they contain. So the relationship repository can only return relationships. It can't return the actual developer objects. But because we actually created the connections inside of the developer record, we can use them. It's a bit more complicated and why I didn't like, we don't want to get into it, but they find all by the relationship model, where the originator is the ID and the relationship type. I could also do find all by inverse relationships underscore originator ID, but it's fine. This will get both of what we need, I believe. Potentially, right? No, not quite. Get our relationships. Oh, no. Hold on. I don't need that. Get all find all relationships by relationship type. Yeah, find all by relationships type. I think that'll be better because we don't care about this. Will get because this right here, the relationships list stores all the relationships where they're the originator. Remember? So there is none of these where they are the recipient. In this table, in this field here, if you look back at the developer record, this one is where they are the originator. This one is where they are the recipient. It's a little hard to follow, I know. That's how this one works. So how these are matched. So these are the relationship has all these are the originator relationships. So the originator relationships. These are all the recipient relationships for this user. So this one should be the same thing, just inverse underscore type. We just give it the type. I believe that's what will work. What I will do to prove to correct this, yeah. Undo. There we go. Back to developer. Back over to here quick. We'll redo those two lines right from scratch. So set developer friends equals repository of the relationship one dot find all relationships type relationship accepted. Not that. Developer friends dot add all repository dot find all by inverse relationships type relationship. Not that. No, that should be fine. Let me set that. What are you still upset about? Are you still upset? You are. Why? No, you're not. But this one is. Why is this one upset?
This is,
This dot languages cannot be referred to by a static. Huh? Why? This is the list. Oh, right. I don't need the word this. Right. I'm being dumb. What? Huh? Hold on. Now I'm having.
Well, you
now
don't
I'm having a
have-
moment.
you have, what about the developer? You don't have that.
Oh, I'm being dumb. This is how we do it, right? Return new. I don't do this idea. I'm not a constructor. Wow, I'm having a moment today. Return new self-developer developer dot get ID developer dot get name developer dot get email developer dot get cohort developer dot get languages developer dot who's going to do friends. We're just going to do for the moment new set developer. Ah. Why do you not like that?
Gotta give it a name.
Set is abstract, can't be substantiate. What? That makes no
Yeah,
sense.
don't you have to give it a, like friends, don't you have to set new developer to a
Wouldn't.
name?
Because I'm trying to set that in here. And I'm trying to just set an empty one. That's fine. Set developer equals set developer. That. What's that I need to do? No. Right, set is an abstract class. It's not an actual item. I think the default that it does is the hash set. Yeah, okay, that's what I gotta do. Okay. New hash set developer. Again, these are just sending empty ones till we can make sure this works, just to make the code happen. No, I can probably just use empty on each of these. Yeah, I don't make this easier for myself. Empty. Semicolon, and that should make the code happy. Just to make sure that these two items I added to the repository work. That's what the goal here is. I just want to run this quick to make sure that it works. So reboot the application. Let's see if it likes it. Do not reboot yours in case mine breaks. It doesn't like it. Dang it.
Yes, you meant inverse.
Inverse relationships. That's not what is that not what I called it? I spell it wrong. It didn't like inverse relationships, it didn't like the normal one. So developer repository didn't like this guy.
Should be lowercase.
Oh, it's
because
a-
inverse- Inverse is
multi,
lowercase.
it's a two worded item. Hold on. Does it want an underscore in it? Oh wait, do you mean inverse relationships with the capital S? No. What? Oh, I did. Why did I do that?
Mhm.
Did nobody catch that?
Mhm.
None of you guys caught me did that, huh?
That's funny. It's relationships.
None of you guys caught that, huh?
Well,
Thanks, Taylor. You gave me a face palm, huh? Who here actually, did anyone here actually type that themselves, or is it just mine?
Good
I have to know now. Did anyone else type relationships with the capital, inverse relationships with the capital S?
Oh, that's in developer.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I don't know if you noticed that, Matt. It has a capital S there.
I just saw it. I want to see if I've done it too. 'Cause sometimes I do just follow you along. No, I did not. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So no one else typed that, huh? Good, you aren't blind typing, you're just not blindly following me completely. So I gotta fix that then. Oh, God damn it. I gotta fix that over here now too. Hold on, we'll do this. Do that, we'll do refactor, rename. That S. Select all. Okay. Oh, that's a fun one. Still not happy. All right, let's find out why. No property type found type for type developer. First path.
Bang.
I know, right, developer paying. First path developer inverse relationships not. Why not by
Inverse
relationships?
developer,
Doesn't like
inverse
that.
relationships.
Still don't like that one.
No property type found for developer. I still think it should be lowercase, shouldn't it? Because you did inverse relationship, should be I to be lowercase.
Well, not in the repository, not on this thing, because we see here the R here is capitalized, remember?
True.
So the first letter is,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to remember, should this be an underscore here instead? Yeah,
Put the underscore at the, on the type. Is that where a type is supposed to have the underscore?
yeah, because it's a property
Oh,
of
because it's
the inverse
type.
relationship. Yeah.
Hmm.
Trying to think.
That's supposed to match what the table is supposed to be, right? The inverse relationship, that's supposed to be what the very, what's on the table.
Second, templating, find by name, age. There's actually more. This find by name, it's find by something starting with, ending with, containing. Find by name like. There's a lot of these. Actually, just bailed on. That came up with a really nice one. Cool. Page less than, greater than, page, birth date. Yeah, no, it's both capitalized. Birth date. Yeah, so that should be accurate. Inverse relationships should be accurate.
There is an S in relationships, right?
What's that?
There is an
Double
S
check.
in relationships, right?
Good check.
Yep, you got an S there. Yep.
Let's just make sure. Hold on. Make sure I typed it right. I'll just capitalize the I after I paste. Seems to be fine. No property type found for type developer. That doesn't make any sense. So let me open this up again. Ah,
Bless you.
Cause I'm tight.
no, this one sure actually likes the first one. Just curious. I will need to go back to the controller. And get it back. I'm not gonna be happy about it. What is it? So, let's just see if it likes the first one. See if it likes this guy. First. Just curious now. They're not.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
that have to do with the database at this point? Because I remember having to deal with that on my
I gotta double
own.
check the. I gotta double check the syntaxing for this. How to find by a set. So this is the items in a set. So how to filter in the items by a set. So that's the item here, because these are relationships. So the many-to-many inside of this, I know how to do a many-to-one, but how to do like a many-to-many, how to do that. That's what I'm trying to remember now. And I didn't write on the notes for that, fortunately. I should have double checked on that first. Knowing that I didn't.
Wait, it's saying there is no property in developer.
Yeah, is it saying there's no field in developer?
Yeah, that means
For
you
like an
don't have
e-relationship called
relationships in
type?
developer. You only got approvals in the developer. You don't have like other relationships, do you?
Yeah, is there an e-relationship in developer?
Yeah, that's the question. It's like not finding.
But
look
it
at
is a,
developer.
the thing is, it's a relation, oh, okay. I don't know, yeah, 'cause it's a developer, but it's a developer based on the relationships. So it's a list of all the relationships. So I'm trying to figure out though, can I pull out of this just the ones that are accepted, or do I need to actually make these separate items?
So property found for type develop, property. So it means relationship dot, the E relationship is probably not being found, right?
That's what I was thinking too, because you're using the argument, like you have the word type for argument too, so I'm confused whether it's saying that when it says
It
no
doesn't-
property
yeah.
type,
That's what
if
I
it
think
means
you
the
might be on the right
argument you're
page, yeah.
using, or if it means like
Yeah.
there's no.
Developer doesn't have a type.
Yeah.
So 1 second. I remember something. I'm trying to think. Gotta filter entities in a mapped association. There it is. That's what I'm looking for. Remember how to do that.
I think you have to look at the developer, the
Oh,
relationship.
hold on. I forgot about this thing.
Here we go.
Was the term we used in relationship? Is it type? Or
Type. E relationship or type.
hold on. Relationship repository. No, that was right. Relationship model. Hold on. I think this is a string with that in relationship. Hold on. Repository relationship. It's one of these. Nope. I don't think I have it open. I don't think it's open. Need the model. No, I have to match the field.
Keep going to, yeah.
Type. Clause. Type. Equals. Let me do the. I didn't import where, by the way. Hold on. There. Now we did mark this as a string, so we're gonna try the. I don't think I can use the E relationship in here. 'Cause this is, yeah. Hold on. Also, I'm doing it wrong. Type equals. Yeah, I can't use the enum system in here, so I'm just gonna do type equals. Accepted. Remember, we did mark the enum type as a string type in the enumerated. So if we go back to
Oh, okay.
relationship here, you see enumerated enum type string. So this should work. Now this relationship is only accepted relationships. This one is only unaccepted.
So you,
Now that makes me wonder if I could actually, if there's a way to do this where actually I could set it up where this will actually include both the inverse and the non-inverse. I mean, instead of doing a many-to-many now, I could just set it up to pull from it. Ooh,
let's see if this,
probably. But yeah. This will only have accepted, which means I will need another the pending relationship as well and pending inverse. So I might look into this over the weekend because we're already at 9:30. This is, I feel like, where I'm going with it because I'm feeling that I don't, you're right, because yeah, the repository, I cannot pull by the relationship information because the relationships field is not a containing relationships. It's containing a bunch of developers. So I think you're right that I cannot search on those fields, even though I want to.
but
I do
You
feel like there's a
could-
way to do this though. That's better
But
than what I'm thinking of currently doing. So I'm gonna spend this weekend quick figuring this, double checking on this. I didn't do an example of this myself yet because it's a little more complicated than I expected. Now I should have thought of this a little more when I decided to do friendships with you guys. I forgot how complicated knowing these things are. well,
So
go ahead.
currently, right now, we would have to look at relationships to find all the users that have been accepted on both sides to be able to
Right, well, look, kind
pass
of,
it to the
'cause right
front
now-
end to be able to say which ones are which. There's a lot more logic to doing the way it's set up right now.
Yeah, so let's do where clause type equal accepted again. And then I would need to create two more. Many maps. Actually, great. These are the other ones I need to create. Pending, or I would call it, sorry. Yeah, we call it pending relationships. Inverse. Oh, we could actually call that one, yeah. Incoming relationships. Relationships. Inverse. Oh, this mapping might be nice to have this, then we have all three of the relationships separated into separate fields. So this actually may not be entirely a bad thing, now that I think about it.
But if you generate a service, you can actually have it work a
Yeah.
little bit better.
Yep.
I agree with this. If you actually had them all in here, all the possible choices, then you're good to go. You don't have to worry about any other further logic outside this. Because you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
everything here.
I will look on to see if there's a many complicated way of doing the repository. I'm going to double check on that to see if there is a way to access that, because I do believe there should be, even though there is a developer, because it is mapped by this relationship table. I do feel like I should be able to, in the repository, be able to condition based on this data. I just got to remember the formatting. So I got to go through the JPA formatting to check on that. This is one way we can do it. I okay with it. This is the one I don't mind. I forgot this is how you can do it. I knew that there was some way I could do it. I knew this was something I could do, just couldn't put a syntax for it. I actually was trying so simple as where. Let's go ahead and kill this out of the repository for a second though. Comment that out, just make sure it's happy. That, let's go back to here onto the controller. That, also gonna just do this now instead. So set developer friends. Actually, no, I don't even do that now anymore. Hold on. This is actually gonna make this code a little bit easier now. Instead of doing that, so that, go back to friend developer, get rid of this. And we are gonna put these back because now, also that's a small s, please. Thank you. These both items now are just approved relationships now. So now this is accurate, right? So this is now accurate. Developer friends, this is just getting the approved, just getting the approved. So this is now accurate again. So we can go back to the original code for this guy. The code you had before is now correct because we added that where clause where these only include accepted. So now let's make sure this works. Oop, not the debug button. Dang it, stop and rerun.
Yay.
Started. I go back over here quick to our front end. Here. Quick, let's go to developers. Click on Taylor. Did not pull it for some reason. Why? Oh God, now it broke.
You're not accepted friends, so you're screwed. Developer in clause. You're not friends.
No, they think something broke with the database. Oh no. Unknown column developer one underscore dot type is on clause. What?
The culmination
Right.
of Cliff calling me Tyler too many times.
No, it doesn't like my clause. That's the problem, actually. It doesn't like this. Is that correct? Unknown column. Developer one. What?
And I know it says
Developer one.
That made me wonder about that, like made a new,
Underscore. What? Did it make a
looked
new
like it made a
table?
new table, a new field.
Not.
Let's check the.
No, it didn't. And then hold on. Select. There, good. This is developer one column. What?
Could it be developer ID 1?
No, it said developer one
Unknown column developer one
underscore.
Or
type.
dot type.
Where,
Checking something quick. Oh, wait a minute. The string. Once there's a string,
hmm,
part of it. That's everything, but that's definitely part of it. Getting the syntax right is always key.
Running.
Well, they like
funny, it
code, so
ran
that's-
though. I mean, it
Yeah.
ran before with,
I'll be
the way
logged
it
out
was.
now. No, I'm not. Am I logged out? Let's find out. No, I am not. Good. Still don't like it. Nope. Same problem.
oh, one's not in clause.
Oh. Doesn't like the clause. huh?
On clause, what's on clause? It says clause though.
Well, that method type is on clause.
Hmm,
Sure that is like that though. That is what I'm getting annoyed with. Developer one. I don't know why it's doing that item. Is it because I need to go above this? Hmm.
Does this have anything to do with the fact that you manually entered something into SQL before?
I'm
Oh.
wondering, but I hope not because that means I have to delete my database and that would be a horrible thing. I'm hoping not. I don't want to do that.
no, you did it right.
Is it trying to do type in the developer? Because again, this is a set of developers instead of using this item here. Can I do that? I feel like it may be trying to do the data type again because of this. But that might still do developer dot relationship dot type. Oh, hold on, actually, I know what to try. Ooh.
I do have to log on for tonight, so
That's
I'll
fine, yeah.
catch up with the video. Have a good night, everybody. Have a good
Good
weekend.
night.
Right.
I'm gonna try this. Spelling crap wrong. Paste, yeah, paste. This is probably gonna do developer.relationship.type. We'll find out. Concern this is still trying to match it against the data type though, so it's not exactly what I want, which is kind of annoying me. This value, yeah, doesn't like it. Value. So type equal value. Oh wait, why is table there? Go away. Why did that get? That, okay, weird. Not sure where that popped up. Code. Click. Error. Doesn't like it still. Let's see if it's what I'm expecting it to be. Developer dot. No, I'm gonna call relationship dot type. It's on clause. Oh, that's exactly what I wanted, right? Hmm. No column though. It's not column. Damn it. Yeah, we're gonna have to look into this a little more now.
Is your relationship underscore not dot type? Because this one to show account underscore ID in the clause.
1 second. Wait. Really? No way. Oh, did I not see that? God damn it. Everybody see what I just found?
Where join table?
I want to do the clause is supposed to be being run on the join table, not on everything. So I was running it against this guy, where
Mm.
join table tells it to run on this, run when the condition on here. So
Oh, run join, okay.
join table clause equals type. Yeah, it's gonna be a string. That you can get some fancy stuff going on here. So that should do it now. Okay,
Is do the one, oh, yeah, you already did the one. on
I
top.
did both. Yeah.
You did relationship type on top
Ah,
versus
damn it.
type on there.
Refresh. Reboot. Just stop.
And I think do you have double quotes on that over there?
Single quotes.
Single quotes on both? You don't have single quotes on line 71.
Ah, damn it. Thank you. Give it a second to load. Good. Click. I have results. All right. Let's see what those results are. I do see both friendships. So you know what I'm going to do quick is under here. Where am I going? Hold on. Here. 7 relationship controller, relationship. Oh, I had that open. Add this quick just so I can see if I'm getting, what kind of data am I getting back. All right. Boot developers. Maybe Taylor is the one with 2 friends. It's kind of gonna fool because I'm loading quick. Developers, Taylor, click. It's not showing me the data that I want.
Friends, they show friends. Oh, you want to see what?
Type
What
to
one's
make sure that
friend?
those are correct. 7. Taylor has friend. Taylor from 7 and 8. Probably actually these I think are both accepted. 7 and 8. So I should pull up 5, 3, 13. I shouldn't see these. So well, no, because I won't pull the friend list anyway. I should log in as Taylor. Because if Taylor pulls up me, 20, he won't see it, but Taylor's not here anymore, so he won't see this. So it's not it's okay to say that. So let's go ahead and do that. Refresh the page to log out. I need to put a log out button here. Log out. Test.com, test, log in, click 20. I only see 1 friend, even though I have 3 requests. So I have 3 friendships. So I'm, again, you see I'm number 8. If I go here to the database, you see 8, 8, 8. So this does work. All right, so where join table's type is accepted. That makes me think that there's definitely got to be a way to use this inside of the repository by somehow being able to tell it to use the join table for the condition. There's got to be a way to tell it to use the join table now that I'm seeing this. So since they have an annotation to do it, this is being provided by Hibernate and JPA, which is where the repository comes from. There's got to be a format in the naming convention to do this. I'm just not familiar with it because I haven't done all the naming conventions. Like I said, there's tons. Just to kind of demonstrate a little bit before I end it, so you guys get this little extra and this little extra at the end of the item. Here we are.
wouldn't you just make a service and bring in both the repositories and actually build some methods to actually get what you
But
want?
again, I don't think that's right. I'm thinking, what I mean is that I feel like I should be able to do a query on the find all by relationship type. I should be able to pull that.
Oh,
you can
well,
see
yeah,
here,
you
just
could, you could, yeah.
With the
you could-
naming. Hold on,
yeah.
Jim. Pointing out just how robust this thing is. You can see find by name is not null, find by name is not null. You can do similar conditions, find by name starting with, find by name ending with, find by name containing, find by name like, so you can give it a pattern. You can do find, and there's a like pattern, for example.
Mm.
Find by age less than or equal, greater than or equal, find age between, find by age in, I got dates, find by birth date after, find by birth date before, find by name or birth date and active, sorting the results, order by name, order by, yeah, find by ID and all that kind of credit repository and all that stuff. So there's a lot still to these naming conventions in the JPA repository system that I just haven't had time to go through them all. There's a lot here in these items. This is just the kind of scratching the surface of it. So, yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's a main thing about it. So there's a lot you can do with the naming conventions in this, and so I don't know all of the naming conventions at all, even though I wish I did. So, but we'll definitely have to pull that in more and see what we got. I'll take a look at it, see if we can find a better way of doing it. But yeah, we'll have it for Monday. But even then, Monday we're still going to kind of touch base. We're going to start doing. I think we'll start with OpenShift first, though. All right. I will verify this a bit more, make sure, because I forgot how difficult relationships are. But I think this is still good to learn and good to see us. I guess it also is good to see me kind of working it out. So hopefully this benefit you guys seeing how I work out a potential of trying to figure it out. Let's see, just JPA method. So again, I'm trying to create a method, naming convention, because that's what they're using with multiple words. Words. But that's pretty much what I search for to find this information. Or later on, when I found the other item, or like Google search. No, and that.
A lot of those things I was
There it
searching,
is.
they all came up with query, like doing the actual SQL queries, like what Freddie's doing.
No worries. And you can see here, JPA filter relationship. So again, using those terminology that we used to, again, we're using JPA hibernate. That's why I'm always starting with this. I want to filter the results of a relationship. So that's why I looked this, and that's why I was able to find hibernate tips, how to filter entities from a mapped association and one-to-many filtering. Using this, I was able to find the at where, and then because I was dumb and didn't slow down typing and saw the where join table, I just did this quick join table filter, and that found me the where join table, where I finally lost my insanity and saw the where join table. So the searches are not complicated, and that's what I wanted to show here quick. I'm not doing complicated searchings. Like I'm just using I'm trying to be very scientific in my words and not trying to write a sentence. That's another key thing there. You're not going to be able to guess the sentence that people wrote to find it. You're just trying to find the key elements of your search. So remember that you're dealing with an algorithm. Google is an algorithm. Google is a computer. You're not asking, even though you can ask Google human-like questions, Google is not a human. So do not type in sentences to find things for developers in Google. Type in a concept of what you're looking for and you'll get good results. I have never found what I wanted to when it comes to developing by typing a sentence in. I try to use the keywords because that's exactly how SEO in Google is. It's keywords, it looks up words, it doesn't look at the sentence structure. Sentence structure only matters with error messages because you want that exact error message. When you're looking for how to do something, this is kind of the best because you're keeping it open enough that it'll find something close. That's the key. So, JPA method, naming convention, multiple words. JPA filter relationship. Join table filter. Make sense? So there's some tips for searching, understanding that, yeah, I'm not doing it. I don't have any sort of special tools to find this stuff or anything. Sometimes when I don't have it in my notes, I'm using very, very simple SQL queries, very basic Google queries to find my stuff. So hopefully that helps you guys a little bit in when you guys run into problems. Any questions on that? Or we need to take some time to rewatch this a bit, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah.
Anything you do have the homework. There's no real algorithms. Let's work on your project. Search up some data, start searching up some data structure stuff, and then just review this. That's gonna be your homework for the weekend. Sound good? So I'll try to get this up tonight.
Awesome.
Guys have it. And yeah, if you guys don't see it tomorrow morning, just send me a ping. Just check it. And honestly, even if you're not gonna watch it, just if someone wants to check it, just to make sure it's there. That way I get it up for you guys quick. All right. I
Gotcha.
appreciate when you guys send it, 'cause yeah, I named the video last time for Tuesdays. I named it and everything. I apparently just forgot to actually drag it over to YouTube. Because I named it, I'm like, oh, I must have uploaded it. It's named. So, yeah, just keep me posted. Just let me know if it's not there. I will. I am human. I am not a robot, so I will mess up sometimes. I know I might act like a robot sometimes, but I am not. All right, guys. I will see you all on Monday. Have a good weekend.
And Cliff
I'll try
didn't
to
make,
do I'll try to do office hours on Sunday.
and Cliff didn't make a bot to do this automatically.
No, I do not.
He's not